All right, good morning, everyone, and welcome. Today is Tuesday, October 11th, 2022, and I'm welcoming you to a regular meeting of the Board of County Commissioners of Manatee County. It is an absolutely beautiful day today outside in Manatee County, and we're going to start, of course, the way we always do. We're going to start by honoring God and by honoring our great nation. So we have two special guests with us today. One is Randy Bezet, who is the pastor at Bayside, probably the largest church in the county. He will lead us in the invocation, after which we have a very special guest today in Rusty Russell. Mr. Russell is a resident of the city of Bradenton, lives right here downtown in Westminster. He is 98 years old, and he served this country during World War II. He served in the Navy, and he was in 3 years. He was in the South Pacific fighting for our freedom, fighting the Imperial Japanese. And he was stationed on remote airstrips on islands throughout the Pacific. So before we start, if we could all stand and give a round of applause and thank Rusty for his service. So if you would remain standing, Randy Bezet from Bayside will lead us in the invocation, and then Mr. Russell will come to the podium to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you very much. Let's bow our heads in prayer. God, we come to you today with our lives first and foremost, and we just surrender our lives to you because, God, in essence, I think that's why we're here, is not just to serve our families and our communities, but ultimately to represent you very well. And I thank you for this board, this commission meeting that is going to happen today, and we know there'll be complex things that they will have to decide and the wisdom that they will need, and I pray that you grant them that today, that they would have the wisdom they need to lead, and they would do it with the heart of the people. In fact, God, I just thought about this scripture, and it says, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, but when the wicked rule, the people groan. I thank you that people in this community will rejoice because of the decisions and the leadership that is represented in this room. And I thank you for Manatee County, and God, help us to be the kind of community that the rest of the country would look at and say, wow, how things work together there between civil and religious and business leaders all together, that God, there'd be something unique that would happen here. And we thank you for that. Amen.
We're thankful, dear Lord, today for all of our many blessings, particularly thankful for our nation and the freedom that we stand for. I ask that you bless this meeting, bless this group assembled, and give us good tidings for the rest of the year. Amen.
Amen. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for those words. And of course, thank you so much for your service. All right, Dr. Hopes, if you would please read announcements and changes to the agenda into the record. I don't have it. I can.
No, I have notes on it. Okay. All right. Let me see if I can remember. Oh, here we go. Number 42, and then you'll catch the item number for the other one, correct? 62411. 44, 45, 62, 411. All right, Mr. Chair. The agenda update for the meeting of October 11th, 2022, under Human Resources, item number 29, approval of the 2023 Medical, Dental, and Retiree Premium Cost Sharing Exhibit A. To this item was revised. Changes to advertised public hearings, financial management, item number 49, adoption of resolution R22-172 regarding the infrastructure sales tax to amend the project scope and rationale in the transportation major road improvements category, and adoption of budget amendment resolution B23-013. The cover sheet of Resolution R22-172 and Budget Amendment Resolution B23-013 was revised. Item number 44 under consent agenda will be deferred to a later meeting. And under item number 45, surplus of property, item number 62411 is removed from the list. Those are all of the amendments, Mr. Chair. Yes. Oh, was item number 42 the one that's deferred? Item number 42 is deferred to a later meeting date.
Thank you, sir. Commissioners, at this time, are there any items that you would like removed from today's consent agenda?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Commissioner Whitmore.
Item, it's 18, but it's only number 2, and number 11 regarding the line of credit, and the number 2 is regarding...
Hold on, 818 is the adoption of the budget
I
resolution?
don't need the whole thing pulled, just those 2 items, but if you want to pull the whole thing, that's fine.
So you want number 2 under item 18, is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay, but we have to pull the whole item. Correct,
Okay.
Dr. Clegg. Mr. Clegg? Yes,
Yeah,
item
you
18.
can't pull it by line item within
Okay.
the resolution. You're
You
correct,
just
sir. You have to
clarified
pull the
it.
entire resolution.
Okay, so we're pulling 18 for Commissioner Whitmore, was that all?
Yep.
Anyone else? Okay. So item 18 from financial management will be pulled. Commissioner Bellamy.
Check. And I want to look at 28.
28. I should move faster, you know. 28, I'm teasing.
28.
Okay, 28. Bellamy. Commissioner Satcher, did you have one you wanted pulled?
Well, I have a question. Did we pull the budget amendments regarding Moccasin Wallow? Were we going to do a short presentation on those, kind of highlighting that?
I think we did. I requested it in my
Sorry,
briefing.
I was looking through and so many I couldn't.
Yeah,
On the regular?
on the
Perfect,
regular.
perfect. That's what I was hoping.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, anyone else? Going once, going twice. Okay, then we're going to move forward.
Mr. Chair, point of order. What Commissioner, Satcher was saying, Moccasin Wallow is on the budget amendments. Maybe that's where he got it. Yes, it is. It's project numbers, and it does mention Moccasin Wallow. Maybe that's where he got that from. So just want to be clear that he'll be able to talk
Okay.
about. We pulled 18 anyway, so you should be okay.
It's also 53 and 54 on your
Yeah,
regular agenda.
We pulled it
I know.
Okay.
before the publishing.
Okay, then we're going to move forward with presentation of the August Employee of the Month, which is Kevin Leonard, after which we'll do the September Employee of the Month, Chris Latham. But let's do Kevin Leonard first. Yeah, we all know who Kevin Leonard is.
Oh, yeah.
Come on down.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, County Administrator, and County Attorney. I'm Ron Hardy, IT Manager of Client Services and Telecom. It is my pleasure today to be here to recognize the August Employee of the Month, Mr. Kevin Leonard. I've worked with Kevin in the IT department for over 16 years, and in that time I've known him as a hardworking, diligent, professional coworker who is a tremendous asset to our department and to myself. Kevin consistently steps up to assist the employees of Manatee County on a day-to-day basis, and especially during disruptive times such as during COVID and most recently with Hurricane Ian. He is there when you need him, and I know that most of you have relied on him to get through some sort of technical issue or challenge at one time or another, or another, or another.
Or another.
Kevin is a pleasure to work with, and deserves this award and the recognition for a job always well done. Thank you. Congratulations.
Thanks. Well, I have to admit, this was a complete surprise when I got it back in August.
Is your mic on, Kevin?
Yeah, you should know the IT requirements.
I don't handle AV.
I know.
I just deal with you.
I know, you just tell us.
But back in August, when I first got this award, it was announced that we were in a meeting, and they came in and they said, Kevin Lennon, and I'm like, what did I do? It was a complete surprise to me, but thank you very much.
Aw, that's it?
That's it. He's a man of few words. I know you've bailed me out a time or two, and we really appreciate it because obviously the technology we have makes things run so much smoother, so much easier until it doesn't, right? And then we are totally helpless without it. So we depend on all you guys greatly to keep the county running. So, but thank you specifically to you, sir. Here comes Chad. He must have an IT issue he needs addressed.
Well, if he's not going to speak up, because he's normally not a man of few words, but Kevin by far has the most polite, what did you do
I know.
when he comes to help you than anybody else I know?
You know, you an idiot.
Well, Chad makes a challenge every time I have to go there to deal with it, so.
He is right.
Sounds like
Yeah, that's true.
you have politely pointed out that Chad didn't have devices plugged in the past, I guess.
Or turned on, or whatever the case
Right.
may be.
Okay.
But in response to your remark, it was, we have, as far as IT goes, it's 95% board and 5% sheer terror half the time. But thank you.
All right, thank you.
Kevin,
Mr. Chair?
Yep, just getting my mouse on here, okay, we have two commissioners on the board. Whitmore
Kevin.
and Servia, Kevin, are on the board. Commissioner
Yeah.
Whitmore.
Kevin, I've worked with you since, I don't know how long you've been here. How long have you been here?
Going on 19.
Okay, so you're here before me, but you're my very good friend, and now before I call you, I unplug everything and restart it, because he's trained me well. And you know, every time I see you, and it's been hard the last couple of years, because we lost two of your close friends to COVID, and you and I went to a service for one of them, and ever since then, in fact, I've changed it since so I can say it. They were my password for ages, so to remember them, as you know. So I just want to thank you for your caring, and you guys have a really tight team. And when that happened to your two coworkers, I saw the department really come together. And you know, I just want to tell you, you'll always be a friend to me. And you got my numbers and stuff. And let's hope we see each other on the other side.
Thank you.
Commissioner Servia.
Yes, I just want to say congratulations and thank you for all the times that I've had an issue with a computer and I call and you immediately come up and help us get through it. So thank you, well-deserved recognition.
Thank you.
Dr. Hopes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And while I've got the group up here, I want to thank them for everything that they did during preparation and restoration and recovery from Hurricane Ian. A couple of them spent a couple of nights in the EOC with us, making sure that everything was operational. So really, thank you all for everything that you do every day to keep the central nervous system of Manatee County government functioning. Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Baugh.
Kevin, the man of the hour. You know, I think every commissioner up here has had the pleasure of working with you on their computers or whatever at one time or another. But, you know, for me, it's more of those things where he'll look at me and say, well, you know, you need to do blah, 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 blah. And I go, excuse me? How do I do that? And he just looks at me, and then he sits down and he does it. So thank you
You're welcome.
for everything.
You're welcome.
It's a pleasure.
Thanks.
Congratulations, Kevin. Thank you for your service. All right, and next up is our Employee of the Month for September, which is Chris Latham.
Oh, yeah.
Good morning.
Chad's guys are working. He couldn't spare many people to come down for the ceremony, I see.
Good morning, but
Lot going
as you might know, we had an opportunity at a meeting, but we, unfortunately, Public Works staff elected to stay with storm prep on the 27th of September, but this is much more time, and to give it the proper ado to congratulate one of our own. And I won't have too much personal to say, but this is the epitome of where I call teamwork from within the organization as a whole. Just a great hard worker, team player within us, but understands his mission. Chris primarily supports the EMS fleet, and it was that team that recognized the dedication and the direct hard work that he gives to them. Any problem that they have, they can stop by the shop and ask a question and work with him. And it was Larry, Sean, and Jimmy's team that actually put the recommendation together here. We wholeheartedly support it, and know Chris is an awesome team player, but it filtered through the entire organization and got that recognition. Matt?
Good morning, Matthew Case, Fleet Manager. I just wanted to share a couple things. Chris and I have worked together for about 5 years, but there are some key points in his submission that I really wanted to make note of. Chris rarely goes above and beyond in his duties, and it's quick to help a fellow employee in need. No matter the department or division, we're all serving the citizens of the county. He treats everyone with respect and professionalism and sets a good example to his peers. That is a lead example of ACE.
Right.
This is the man right here. The second part, Chris continues to show us what public service is and should be. Manatee County government is genuinely grateful for his actions. When I read that, I would add that to Manatee County is genuinely blessed for his actions. Every day, he works hard, he comes in, he does what he needs to do. Chris's other fine things that he does, Chris knows in my book, the big difference between good and excellence is details. If you're just gonna be good, you're gonna be good. But when you're into details, you're excellent. That's why we win every award, everything we can get our hands on. It's because of employees like this. And there's two other things I did want to share. There must be some good momentum in the Latham household. Chris's wife was Employee of the Month at her employer for the same month. Wow. And
Really?
yes. And also, Chris has lots of public and private sector experience, but he also brings 12 years of veteran service to the United States Marine Corps. So
Yay.
we appreciate everything he brings. Thank you.
Good morning, Commissioner Sean Dwyer from EMS. It was a pleasure to nominate Chris for this award. The team over there does an excellent job at keeping our ambulances rolling. These are very expensive vehicles, probably some of the more expensive vehicles on the road, and there's a lot of intricacies that it takes to get that job done. So Chris and his team, and specifically Chris and Kevin, work really closely with us. We're happy to have him. Thanks for giving us the opportunity to recognize him today.
Thanks, Sean.
Chris, please step forward and accept your award for Manatee County September Employee of the Month.
Thank you.
All right, let's hear from the man of the hour.
It'll be short, but I just want to thank everybody. This has been an honor to be even accepted and nominated for this award. You know, it's truly my pleasure to get to serve this community at this capacity, you know, at doing this job for the last, 5 years. And I look forward to many more years to come with the county. Thank you.
Good job.
Dr. Hopes.
Thank you, Chris, and congratulations.
Thank you.
I know it's a rarity that I see one of our ambulances sort of sidelined, and appreciate all you do every day. And we're really honored and pleased to have you as an employee.
Thank you.
Yep, we are.
Chris, thank you so much for your service to the country and to our county, sir. Thank you.
Thanks, Chris.
All right. Next, so we have proclamations next, so if I'll entertain motions on proclamations.
So moved? I can't.
We have
Sorry.
a motion by, I'll just do it verbally, guys, don't worry about it. So
Okay.
we have a motion by Commissioner Whitmore and a second by Commissioner Cruz to approve proclamations. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Madam Clerk, proclamations pass unanimously by a vote of 7-0. We'll just go through the order, 3 through 7, as it's written. I will read Case Management Week. So we're going to start with Case Management Week. Do we have case managers here, I hope?
We do.
Okay.
Oh, good, Nathan's here.
Come down to the podium. Mr. Washington can escort you down.
There he goes.
So I'm going to read the proclamation, and then I'm going to read off the names, because we are going to give a proclamation to each of the case managers that are here today. The idea behind this is that, you know, we honor a lot of deserving people regularly up here, as we should. But in the 2 years that I've been here, I hadn't seen the case managers honored up to this point. And the more as we as a board sort of dove into foster care and discovered a lot of the needs that were involved in that system that weren't being met, the more, you know, essentially respect and pride I took in the people who work in our foster care system, and more appreciation I had for what they do every day. So we are now going to honor them today. So whereas case management is a multidisciplinary profession that, obviously I didn't write this with big words like that, right? So whereas case management is a multidisciplinary profession that seeks to assure the delivery of quality, appropriate, efficient, and cost-effective services to customers across Manatee County, the great state of Florida, and the nation, and whereas case managers function in a variety of practice settings, including hospitals, homes, healthcare, long-term care, rehabilitation, elder care, managed care, child welfare, and occupational health to facilitate the coordination of continuing care services. And whereas case managers strive to achieve holistic customer well-being while advocating for their needs, identifying providers, and ensuring quality services are cost-effective. And whereas case management is the management strategy that fosters the careful shepherding of healthcare and public service dollars while organizing, facilitating, and evaluating care options to best meet the customer's mental, physical, and emotional health. And whereas on October 9 through 15 in Manatee County, as well as throughout our nation, case managers will be celebrated for their unwavering care, dedication, and compassion as they enhance quality of life while promoting the achievement of positive outcomes. Now therefore be it proclaimed by the Board of County Commissioners of Manatee County, Florida, that October 9 through 15, 2022, shall be known, designated, and set aside as Case Management Week. I also want to read the names off of everybody that's here. Wish me luck. So we have with us Jonathan Grimmer. Are you here, Jonathan? Jonathan's hiding all the way in the back. There he is. Deborah Siriani DiCola. Siriani. Okay. Siriani DiCola. Robin Graham. Where's Robin? Robin didn't make it. She's probably working. Tanya Scovella. Patrice Womack. Vaughn Dowling. Nicole Velasquez, I apologize. I sympathize as people do this to my name all the time as well. Lorraine Ortiz, Curtis Walker, Christopher Joseph. Did any of these people make it today or what? Okay. Okay, people are working, I get it. Oh, Lord.
First name.
The first name's the trouble.
Oh,
Vilka? Is that right? Oh, wonderful. Vilka Joseph.
good job.
Lydia Casanova. And Kevin Ciferno. Did I get that right? Ciferno? Wonderful. Jorge has a proclamation for each and every one of you that he's going to hand out. And if we could just get a brief 10-minute speech from every person. No, I'm kidding. But hopefully one of you or two of you will speak up and just talk to us real quick about what you do every day and how you serve the county in general and how you serve our foster kids. We would appreciate it.
Nathan.
Whomever would like to. Don't be shy now.
Come on, guys.
Right. You're closest to the podium.
You're
Hi,
nominated.
I'm Von Dowling. I'm case manager with the Manatee County Safe Children Coalition. And basically, I enjoy my job mostly because I like seeing parents become the great parents that they can in spite of the obstacles and circumstances that brought them to our attention. And I'm also honored that I have a supportive team consisting of the Sarasota Manatee County Safe Children Coalition and my wonderful family at Lutheran Services of Florida. And I think that makes a difference as well when you all collaborate together for one main goal, and that is making children safe in their homes at all times.
Yes, ma'am. That was really beautiful. Would anyone else like to speak up? Yes, good. And then commissioners, when we're done, I would like for all of us to go down and get a photograph.
I'll speak up just a tad. I'm Kathleen Cowan with Safe Children's Coalition, and I really appreciate you honoring our case managers. A little shy, but do amazing work day in and day out, and really want to acknowledge this commission. I have not seen any other commission really acknowledging the work of our child welfare case managers. On behalf of us, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Anyone else want to speak? I have commissioners ready to go. Here he is.
Nathan.
Just real quick, Your Honor. I was in court yesterday.
Not that.
I was in court yesterday. I'm so sorry. Commissioners, Mr. Clay, County Administrator, Nathan Scott with the Department of Health. And I again reiterate my deep appreciation for allowing us to do the workshop in January to educate on foster care, to give you guys kind of the understanding that you have now. And I will reiterate everything that Kathleen said. I don't see any other commission. I do a lot of statewide work, and I don't see any other commission really recognizing the hard work that these folks on the ground really do each and every day. So I just appreciate all of you for taking the time to recognize them. So thank you.
Yes, sir. Commissioners Whitmore and Satcher are on the board. Commissioner Whitmore?
Yeah, I've worked my entire career with case managers, and I'm glad that you asked to have this proclamation read because they've never gotten notice in all my years, not even in all the places I've been employed in healthcare. But just for an example, like MCR, as big as they are, they have 10 to 14 case managers in their patient load. All the hospitals do, as you all know. The homeless at the county here, we have hired 2 or 3 case managers now. And I've always thought of case managers as the captain of the ship. So you're the advocate for the client or the patient. My husband's in hospice, they even have a case manager. So for resources in the community, because you guys know where all the resources are and what the next step is. So I'm so happy that we finally got some recognition, and Mr. Chair, I appreciate you doing this. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Satcher.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I want to echo the sentiments that we really appreciate all that you do. There's people like you that are on the front lines doing work that is not normally recognized or celebrated or glamorous or super high paying, none of those things, but you're motivated by something else. And I think that, that's probably, I imagine if we spoke to you, the number one thing is going to be love. You care about those kids, and so that's wonderful. I did want to take this opportunity. I'm usually not real big for recognizing politicians because what we do, I feel like, is the easy side of things. But our chair, Commissioner Van Ostenbridge, has done a heck of a job making foster care really a part of our legislative priorities. When we went, you should have seen some of the leadership, people that we're talking to and legislators. And when we say, we're looking for money, help with roads, and we're looking for and then we want you to fix foster care, and we want each of these kids to have the support that they need. And they were all kind of, they were accustomed to being asked for money for roads or money for this, but being asked for money for kids that, of course, the likelihood of their parents finding out that you're supporting them and casting a vote in your favor because of it's pretty slim. And so their look of surprise told me, okay, this is a different way of looking at things. And so I just really appreciate our chair for leading the way on that. And I know it's a small thing compared to what y'all do every day, but still, he's done a good job, and we've seen results. And I know the governor has, things have passed in Florida because this was brought forward, and I'd like to believe that we played a part in that. So I want to give him at least a round of applause.
We haven't even given a round of applause to the caseworkers yet, so, but I appreciate I do appreciate your kind words, but if the board hadn't embraced it, which all of you did immediately, it wouldn't have gone anywhere, we wouldn't have gone to Tallahassee with it, and if the board hadn't embraced this today, we wouldn't be doing this either, so I thank all of the board for doing this, and of course, thank all of you. So why don't we give them a round of applause and the board head down for some photographs.
Anybody got it?
I'll accept it for the half.
Who's got everyone's napkin?
I'll accept it for the half. I'll accept it for the half.
So we're all gonna go right up here by the dais.
I appreciate that. That's okay. I'll go if you go, but I'd rather.
Yvonne Dowling.
There's our girl.
Nicole. Lorraine.
Thank you.
I have one without a name that is just in general case.
Well, we'll celebrate you with that one.
Perfect. Thank you.
Is Curtis here?
He's not. I'll accept it as we have to. Thank you.
We have your Christopher Joseph by the dais.
Thank you.
Chris. Bianca.
That's it.
Lydia. There you are. And finally, we got Kevin.
There you are. Because that gives you each one of these days, I'll need the men to use the reasons, right? You want me to talk to them? Yeah, I will. I think we're gonna need to have that on the third.
Dr. Hope, do you want in on this? No? Okay, all right.
So we could do this.
All right, guys. 1, 2, and 3. Oh, that mic is on. 1, 2, 3. Good. 1, 2, 3. Very nice. Everybody got their pictures? Yep. Okay. All right. Good job, guys. Thank you.
Somebody's gonna.
Nathan wanted to stand next to me. Isn't that cool? Yeah.
That would get us both in trouble.
I know, isn't that the truth?
Oh, who's Charlene? Oh, she's there.
All right. So next is Red Ribbon Week, which
That's me.
who did I give that? Commissioner, no, Commissioner Whitmore has red ribbon. You had green. She's red, you were green. Green light.
1, 2, 3. Red light, green light. 1, 2, 3.
Oh, how are you? Here. Oh, okay. All right, everybody. Whereas alcohol and drug abuse affect individuals, families, and communities across the nation. And whereas it is imperative that visible, unified efforts by community members be launched to prevent drug abuse. And whereas Red Ribbon Week offers citizens the opportunity to demonstrate their commitment to drug-free lifestyles. And whereas Red Ribbon Week will be celebrated in communities across the nation on October 23rd through the 31st. And whereas business, government, law enforcement, media, healthcare providers, religious institutions, schools, and other community-based organizations will demonstrate their commitment to health, drug-free lifestyles by wearing red ribbons and participation in drug prevention activities. And whereas the Red Ribbon Campaign was established by Congress in 1988 to honor the memory of Kiki Camara, a drug enforcement agency officer murdered by a drug cartel in the line of duty, and serves as a catalyst to mobilize communities to educate youth. Now therefore be it proclaimed by the Board of County Commissioners of Manatee County that October 23rd through the 31st, 2022 shall be known, designated, and set aside as Red Ribbon Week in Manatee County, Florida, adopted with a quorum present and voting this 11th day of October 22. Signed by our Chair, Commissioner Van Ostenbridge.
Thank you very much.
Would you like to say something?
Just a few words. Very few, I promise.
I don't care.
All right. Dr. Hobbs, County Commission, thank you for the recognition of this continued impact that substance abuse has on our community. It affects our individuals, our families, our workplaces, and all of our neighborhoods. In fact, I would challenge anybody in this room to tell me that they haven't been affected in some way by someone's use of substances. It's through the dedication of this team and this entire community that we have promoted the health, safety, and well-being of all of our citizens, and has allowed Drug-Free Manatee with all of our community partners, including some of the people you've honored here today, to be able to provide education and access to treatment to our youth, and community outreach to our homeless, and community outreach to parents on how they can prevent substance use with their youth, and also access to life-saving overdose prevention. Substance abuse touches all of us in some way, and we cannot afford to be compliant at this time when anxiety and stress and all of the things that we've all experienced over the past year continue to increase. This is a mental health crisis. Substance use is just a symptom of a bigger problem. And so this kind of dedication to honor those that we've lost and to respect and provide support to families who struggle with this every day is critical. We invite all of you to show support during Red Ribbon Week. The community is having a candlelight vigil on Wednesday evening, the 26th, at Riverwalk Pavilion. So please come if you can to honor those we have lost to addiction and mental health and support those families. And also our Red Ribbon Breakfast to honor those in the community who give all of their talents and time to promote prevention in the community and to protect our drug-endangered children. Thank you for this, and thank you for all of your support throughout the year to keep this a healthy, resilient community. Dr. Linda Thompson, Drug-Free Manatee.
Thank you so much, Dr. Thompson. Thank you for everything that you do for Manatee County. I don't have anyone on the board at this time, so we'll just thank you again.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next is Commissioner Baugh, who has Manufacturing Awareness Month.
Good morning. Great, great to see you again.
Better put the specs on so I can see. Whereas October 7th, 2022 is National Manufacturing Day, an effective way to highlight the importance of the manufacturing sector in our nation's economy and to draw attention to the many rewarding, high-skilled manufacturing careers available within our local community. And whereas the Sarasota-Manatee Area Manufacturers Association represents nearly 900 manufacturing facilities in our area who produce a diverse array of products and provide employment for approximately 16,000 citizens. And whereas the Sarasota-Manatee Area Manufacturers Association works with our educators to increase awareness of these career opportunities and to support school programs that provide the educational pathways to obtain them. And whereas the Board of County Commissioners commends and supports this worthy cause and the organizations involved. Now therefore be it proclaimed by the Board of County Commissioners of Manatee County that October of 2022 shall be known, designated, and set aside as Manufacturing Awareness Month in Manatee County, Florida. Signed by our chair, Kevin Von Ostenbridge. And I think all of you know that over the years, we have really increased the manufacturing that's done here in Manatee, and I know a lot of it is because of you. So thank you so much. Please.
Well, thank you very much. We appreciate
Thank
that,
you.
Commissioner. And a lot of that is because of you as well. Setting aside land, changing zoning to allow manufacturers to come into our county is a big deal, and thank you for that. So thank you, Commissioner Baugh. Thank you, Commissioners. Thank you, Chair, for presenting the proclamation, and I thank all of you for recognizing the importance of manufacturing. We appreciate the opportunity to speak in front of you and our county residents. And while SAMA's mission has not changed, the talking points tend to change every few years. Currently, the hot topic is affordable housing, workforce housing, or what now some are calling attainable housing, essentially giving up on the idea that our workforce can truly afford housing in this region. There are two sides to that coin. You can give financial incentives to builders to decrease the cost of ownership or rental, or you can pay people more money. Most people want the latter, but that's not possible at times in our state's primary industries of tourism, agriculture, and hospitality. Even nurses, which are in high demand, are paid a low starting wage. Advanced manufacturing is the answer. In Manatee County, the average wage is nearly $63,000 per year. Students graduating from MTC's advanced manufacturing class are obtaining starting wages well north of that. We need to continue to change the perception of manufacturing. There are 550 businesses classified as manufacturers in Manatee County, employing over 8,600 residents. We need to encourage both of those numbers to increase. Today, I have with me Aaron Lane, the Vice President of Operations for R&D Automation in Lakewood Ranch, to share with you the types of impacts that a company like his makes in our county.
Thank you, Rob. Thank you, County Commission. Happy to be here representing manufacturers of Manatee County. R&D Automation may not be what many people consider a typical manufacturer. However, I know of several companies in our area that have similar positive impacts. As a technology company, R&D produces custom automation machines utilizing robots, industrial vision, and other advanced technologies, all cleanly. We're located within Lakewood Ranch with residential homes right behind our facility, as we can produce without creating noise pollution, chemical waste, or other harmful byproducts. Instead, we bring high-paying jobs to the county. R&D's average wage across our company is $83,400, with over half of those positions not requiring a degree. We do hire team members from Florida four-year schools, but we also have several employees from MTC and from STC, our local tech schools. In addition, we support both tech schools directly with donated equipment, matched funding from our partner PMMI, the Packaging the Packaging Machinery Manufacturing Institute, and active projects the students work on to hone their skills. R&D gets involved early in the educational system by providing tours to Manatee County middle schools, STEM clubs, and high schools. We even sponsor a First Tech Challenge team of high school students that design, build, program, and compete with a robot at our facility, where they train on a full competition-sized course. More direct opportunities are offered via high school interns from Outdoor Academy and other local schools. And in addition to the four-year schools like FSU, USF, and UF, many of our interns take on full-time jobs at R&D, allowing them to live in the communities that they grew up in. R&D is just one example of the many manufacturers that bring a whole new meaning to the term OEM, original equipment manufacturer. With Manatee County's focus, more manufacturers can reside and grow in our county, providing additional opportunities to our community, our neighbors, and our families. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Baugh, your proclamation ended up being way more in-depth and interesting than I anticipated, actually. This was pretty good.
Is that why you gave me this? You didn't think it would be?
Yeah, I'm impressed. So Dr. Hopes is on the board. Dr. Hopes?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you for bringing this up and for you gentlemen being here. I grew up in manufacturing, and I remember it had to have been the late 60s, but very, very early 70s. It was the 70s, and my dad came back from a tool show in Chicago, and around the dinner table, he explained that he bought a CNC machine and what a CNC machine was. And to put it in perspective, it's a computer-controlled machine, and we're talking about before PCs. And I'll never forget when the thing was set up. And then fast forward, more than 40 years, my dad, who now is a resident here, had the opportunity to go to MTC when I was on the board, and Governor Rick Scott was there to see the advanced manufacturing program at Manatee Technical College and how far it had advanced since he retired some 20 years ago. But to most of the community, I think they may be unaware that we have a very robust manufacturing sector in Manatee County that ranges from aerospace to chemical manufacturing, marine manufacturing, and for those students out there, it is a great profession. Now, my dad warned me when I decided not to go into manufacturing that the field that I was going into was going to be dependent on what I did, and I didn't learn that lesson because he reminded me that in manufacturing, when he was at home, the manufacturing plant was still producing widgets and air conditioning duct and things like that. And so when he retired, I did not get a manufacturing plant. His employees did. But at any rate, thank you for all that you do, because it is a way to move our economy forward and to foster that robust economy where people can afford to live the American dream right here in Manatee County. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Whitmore.
Yes, and since I've been up here, this wasn't the case at first. And as you know, we weren't diversifying, and the recession taught us that we need to diversify and not just rely on tourism. So I remember when our previous administration started, and I'm not even sure what you call it now, or our Economic Development Department in-house, and we also worked with the EDC. And you saw Air Products, and you saw, like you said, in the Whitfield area, all the aerospace stuff that we've been working on, and thanks to Sharon Hillstrom and our team, we've really diversified, and it's been so attractive that we actually have corporate offices coming down here because of the quality of life and the taxes in Florida. So it's all worked out for everybody. But yeah, we learned our lesson at the county government as well as the port, that you had to diversify. And this is one thing that we decided years ago when we did the Jobs Now, that we were severely lacking in and not promoting manufacturing to come to Manatee County. So this is a great thing for Manatee County. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. And thank you, gentlemen. This was really in-depth and interesting, and I learned a lot. So thank you so much.
We'll be having a plant tour at Air Products on the 26th of the month.
Plant tour at Air Products on the 26th. Okay, thank you. I've actually
What time?
never toured Air Products. Yeah.
You haven't been there?
No, I've not taken the tour.
I've not gone inside. I'd like to go.
It's on Piney Point property, so I've been around the building quite a bit, but I've not been in it.
Do you know what time the plant tour is?
3:30.
And how do
3:30.
we RSVP?
Send me an email or go to
Okay.
sama-fl.com.
All right, thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next up is Commissioner Satcher, and he has Operation Greenlight in Manatee County.
Thank you, sir. Whereas the residents of Manatee County have great respect, admiration, and the utmost gratitude for all the men and women who have selflessly served our country and this community in the armed forces, while recognizing that those sacrifices have been vital in maintaining the freedoms and way of life enjoyed by our citizens. And whereas approximately 200,000 service members transition to civilian communities annually, an estimated 20% increase of service members will transition to civilian life in the near future, and studies indicate that 44 to 72% of service members experience high levels of stress during transition from military to civilian life. Active military service members transitioning from military service are at a high risk for suicide during their first year after military service. And whereas veterans continue to serve our community in the American Legion, veterans of foreign wars, religious groups, civil service, and by functioning as county veteran service officers in 29 states to help former service members access more than $52 billion in federal health, disability, and compensation benefits each year. And whereas Manatee County appreciates the sacrifices and seek to honor these individuals of our United States military who have paid the high price for freedom by placing themselves in harm's way for the good of all, and believes specific recognition should be granted. And whereas, with designation as a green light for Veterans County, Manatee County hereby declares from October through Veterans Day, November 11th, 2022, a time to salute and honor the service and sacrifice of our men and women in uniform transitioning from active service. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that in observance of Operation Greenlight, Manatee County encourages its citizens in patriotic tradition to recognize the importance of honoring all those who made immeasurable sacrifices to preserve freedom by displaying a green light in a window of their place of business or residence, adopted with a quorum present and voting this 11th day of October 2022, signed by our chair and the clerk of the court.
Good morning. Renee Medina with Manatee County Veterans Services. Dr. Hopes, Mr. Clegg, County Commissioners, thank you for this opportunity to present this presentation for our Operation Greenlight. As always, we're very excited to honor our veterans, and this is just another way to recognize them. In times of war, it's often been a tradition to show yellow ribbons on trees and houses to support our troops, and this is a great way to honor all of those veterans who have served in the past and are currently serving, to let them know visually that we are there for them and supporting them. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. And as always, thank you for everything you do for our veterans in this
Yeah.
county, and Mr. Washington as well. Sir?
Good morning, Mr. Chair. Lee Washington, the Director for Community and Veteran Services, Dr. Hopes, Commissioners. We want to thank you for the opportunity to stand before you this morning and accept this proclamation. And it is my desire that this initiative brings into the conversation not only veterans to seek their benefits and services, but the respect and the recognition that they deserve. And I also hope that this initiative also ushers in the conversation of making every single day Veterans Day. Thank you very much.
All right. Well said, sir. Thank you. Commissioner Baugh?
Lee, I don't think I can touch that. You did. That was pretty awesome. You know, I know that we've talked about how we need to get more women involved, and it's always nice seeing you stand there at that podium. I always enjoy that. You can't see Lee behind you, but he's giving it this. So, you know, our veterans do not get recognized enough for what they've done and what they've been through. And then earlier today, we had a World War II veteran who was here, and what an honor to be able to just be in the same room with him. There aren't many left from World War II. So anything this board can do, you know, we're going to do it. And we just thank you for all of your dedication and your support and the way that you work for the veterans as well. So thank you for being here today. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Okay. Next is Veterans Day.
Oh, you might as well.
So we probably keep both of you hold your positions there, and Commissioner Bellamy is coming down with the Veterans Day proclamation.
Talking behind Lee again. Good morning, board, colleagues. Good to see everybody. Proclamation, Board of County Commissioners, Manatee County, Florida. Whereas the Congress of the United States of America has declared that November 11, 2022, be set aside as public holiday to honor American veterans. And whereas the veterans of Manatee County embrace, through sacrifice and service to our country, the most fundamental and cherished bonds in our democracy. And whereas the veterans of Manatee County reaffirm the commitment to democratic ideas by accepting it as solemn responsibility of our survival to bear the burden of what has been, so that tragedy once endured can never be forgotten. Whereas it is proper to honor those veterans who have served with unselfish love to God and country to preserve this great land. Whereas the citizens of Manatee County wish to express their lasting gratitude and admiration to our veterans. Now therefore be it proclaimed by the Board of County Commissioners of Manatee County, Florida, that Friday, November 11th, shall be known and designated and set aside as Veterans Day in Manatee County, Florida. The Board of County Commissioners calls upon citizens, schools, businesses, clubs, and news media to pay tribute to our veterans by displaying the flag of the United States of America and by conducting and attending Veterans Day ceremony throughout Manatee County in recognition of all those who have served and made the supreme sacrifice. Adopted with the quorum present and voting this 11th day of October 2022, signed by our chair and the clerk. Mr. Chair, if I may. Maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, I had the fortunate opportunity to go to my military reunion. And it was about 20 of us. This is when the chamber had their event. And it was about 20 of us that were down, and we were talking about the different places that they've been across the world, you know, serving our country. And there are a lot of different stories that are there. Back home, I think about some of our staff members that are here. I know a few of them that served in the Coast Guard. I know some that served in the Air Force. I know obviously some that served in the Navy. And behind me, you can look in his eyes and tell that he's a Marine guy.
Yeah.
And the honor of serving our country is very, very unique and very, very rare. As citizens, some people don't know the feeling that we have when we're called veterans. Some people have no idea when we take and we reminisce on how some of our soldiers that we serve with have played the ultimate sacrifice. Veterans Day comes around every year, and those memories are often brought up at that time. However, the individuals that paid that ultimate sacrifice, their family think about it probably every minute or every day. We do not, and I'm speaking for Reggie, take Veterans Day lightly. It's very, very, very important for us to take and to assure that we honor our veterans. But more importantly, we remember the ones that are serving right now and fighting for our very freedom. As we sleep in peace here in America, there are some people that are abroad, some soldiers that are abroad that are definitely fighting for our freedom. And if you can hear me within the sound of our voice, we tell you all thank you for your service. And for the veterans that have retired and for the veterans who's transitioned out of the military, we do not leave you out. We tell you thank you for your service as well. Thank you for the proclamation.
Good job.
Thank you so much, Commissioner. I don't know that, well, good luck following that up, but incredibly well said.
I just want to remind our entire constituency that there will be a Veterans Day Parade this year after 2 years of no COVID, so I'm proud to announce that. The service will start at 11 a.m. at Sutton Park in Palmetto. The parade will step off at 11:15 from the Manatee County Fairgrounds. So I'm hoping that you will join us. Manatee County, number 18 DAV, is also serving a special dinner at noon on Veterans Day with a band and entertainment, as well as there will be a collection for JFCS, one of our community partners that assist us with veterans who are struggling in the community and assist with housing situations. They're doing a sock drive for veterans, as well as other homeless people and at-risk youth. Collection periods will run October 14th. Socks will be distributed in November in honor of Veterans Day and will go to the JFC Veteran Services clients directly. There are multiple celebrations throughout Manatee County. I had the recent pleasure of being reminded of the importance of our job at Veteran Services. I had a good friend who's a very prominent member of this community who was in crisis. You wouldn't know by looking at him. You wouldn't see it on his face. He is very well respected. He does a lot for this community. He does a lot of volunteer work within the community. But his own demons from his service are haunting him. And that's what makes me proud to do the job that I do, is you can see a veteran every day and not realize that they're a veteran and not realize the scars that they carry and the things that they have suffered in their service of their country. So I would just like to remind people that while we are honoring veterans for their service, it goes a little bit deeper than that. It goes to their very soul, what they have been through and what they've done. And it's not just them, it's their families that have sacrificed with them, their friends who have sacrificed with them. And it's an honor to be able to help them. And I do also hope that all veterans of this county know that Manatee County Veterans Services stand here ready to help and assist any of our veterans with any questions that they have for not only benefits, but other struggles they may be having, whether it's food insecurity or homelessness or home insecurity. Whatever their case is, whatever their issues are, we have the resources available to help them. So if you know somebody who is in crisis and you recognize that there's a problem, please reach out to them and let them know that Veteran Services stands here ready to assist them in any way possible. Thank you.
Absolutely right.
Thank you, ma'am. Dr. Hopes.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, Lee is going to speak. I'm sorry.
Not much, isn't it? May 2016, we made a great choice in Renee. I am so proud of her.
Yes.
But to echo what Commissioner Ball had said before about veterans and what they've done, it's who we are. You give us a mission and we complete that mission. We stand, in the forefront of everything that we've done in this community. We remain pillars of this community and want to do more. And I want to thank Dr. Hopes, the commission, the deputy directors, deputy county administrators, and my fellow directors of continuing the conversation of bringing transitional housing here for our veterans to include permanent housing. We truly need it, and we truly thank you for all you've done for the veterans here in Manatee County. Thank you.
Thank you, Lee. Dr. Hopes.
Yeah, Lee, I just want to tell everybody that, Lee is an exceptional leader in Manatee County government, and his partner during the hurricane, Charlie Bishop, who's not here, when we met early Friday morning and determined that we needed a pod out in Myakka to help those that were impacted by the hurricane and the flooding. Lee and Charlie Bishop drove out to Myakka. They scouted it out. They let me know that they were probably going to need to break into the community center because we didn't have any keys. And like good soldiers, they broke in nicely. They did try to round up every key possible. But the chair and I were talking about this morning, that we're so blessed with the veterans that we have working here in Manatee County government and throughout the county, because when an outcome is identified, they get it done, and they do it with a determination that is unmatched. And I firmly have come to believe that I don't know that you can get that kind of training any place other than serving in the U.S. Armed Forces. And I will tell you, we had a young man here from IT. What you may not recall is he was the vaccinated person in IT when the spread of the virus hit him. It stopped.
Yeah.
And that young man, Juan, as soon as he was eligible to get the vaccination, he told me he didn't get it for himself, he got it for everybody else. And those are the type of people that we have been able to employ. There's many stories. We have a young veteran who signed up to be a part-time lifeguard to help with opening the pool in Palmetto, the Lincoln Aquatic Center. And he's now a full-time employee and part of our lifeguard crew. And we're so blessed. And Lee, I cannot thank you enough. And many people don't know, when I had made the decision that I felt that he was the person that we needed to lead Community and Veterans Affairs, he had already planned out the rest of his life and was going to go in the food truck business and be an entrepreneur. And he spent the weekend. No, I kid you not. I'm a pretty good salesperson, but he spent the weekend talking to other people, and it was a difficult decision. And he rose to the occasion. and has just done an outstanding job. And Lee, I cannot thank you for your partnership enough and all that you do for the people of Manatee County.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
All right, very well said. We had some really important proclamations, kind of touching ones and interesting ones today. So, Commissioners, without objection, we have FEMA here today, and there are two reps from FEMA. One of them is our division manager, who would like to speak just on what FEMA has done up to this point in Manatee County and what is available from FEMA going forward. So if no one has any objections, I'm going to turn the floor over to Manuel Portela and Dirk. And Dirk, I can't read my own handwriting. I'm sorry about your last name, sir. Eubank? Okay. So, gentlemen, the floor is yours.
Okay, my name is Manuel Portela. I'm FEMA External Affairs. Well, the reason, which is obvious, is because of the Hurricane Ian. I'm External Affairs, and Dirk, we are the two persons that are assigned to cover for this county. So we are working very closely with the emergency manager. Dirk is the one that close directly because he's the one doing operations. So I'm the one that is doing external affairs. So I'm working directly with Lorraine Robb and with Bill Logan. And I'm the one that is sending out the news releases, the fact sheets that you're getting. So we decided to come here today to put a face on who are the persons that are behind the response to Hurricane Ian. I'm the Spanish speakers as well for FEMA, because they assigned me to this county because we know that you have a high population of Hispanics, so I'm here to support them as well.
Good morning. I came here because Manny told me to. I wasn't here during the storm. I'm replacing John Fenn, who was here during the storm. I don't know if any of you know him. John's a full-time FEMA person out of the region. He's going home Friday, and so I'm trying to get up to speed. I'll be working with you guys here in Manatee and also Sarasota south there. And division supervisor's role is liaison. We work between the counties and FEMA and exchanging information and just trying to make sure that our programs are running and have the resources that they need. So I've met with Steve, and I'm killing his name, but I see he left, so Litcher. And he's got a recovery person. When I leave here, I'll be meeting with them and seeing what their priorities are and taking those back.
So we both are going to be here for the long run. I would like to submit formally our contact information. If you have any issues, any concerns, any questions, you can address us through emails or you can call us.
Okay, don't go anywhere quite yet because we're going to address you right now. Dr. Hopes, Commissioner Baugh, and Commissioner Servia was on the board. Do you still want to be on the board?
Once I saw the contact information went into
Very
the
good.
record, I was fine.
Okay,
Thank
perfect. So Dr. Hopes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And I cannot thank FEMA enough because they were there right up front with us and were there in the EOC, and that meant a lot, and it says a lot to the focus in helping us with the preparation and the response and now recovery. And they have just been exceptional at communicating and getting information. You know, I've been forwarding a lot of it to you and getting it to Bill Logan to get it out there. And so we really appreciate the presence and the support that we've gotten and continue to get. Thank you.
Any questions from us?
Yes, Commissioner Baugh.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you. I have been getting emails from FEMA. I'm assuming they're coming from you.
Yes.
And I want you to know that I've sent them to many residents who have been asking who to contact, how to go about it, and so forth. So thank you for sending those emails. But more than that, you know, this has probably been well, it's not probably, this is the worst storm that we've seen in over 100 years in Manatee County. But it's not so much Manatee County. I mean, yes, we had some damage and some people lost their homes, et cetera. And we had, I think, 3 fatalities from it. But going south, not that far from us, I mean, it's much, much, much worse. So thank you for getting here so quickly. Thank you for getting to work, helping people, because there's such a need. And anything that this board can do, you know, all you've got to do is let us know. We'll do whatever we can. So thank you for coming and seeing us today.
You're welcome. We have the door open now. If you have any questions, any issues, any concerns that we can support you, you can drop me an email to my email address, and I'm here to support you. Our driving force is compassion, so we are here to support you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, great. Thank you so much, gentlemen. Appreciate you coming down. Okay, let's then move into citizen comment on future agenda items. If I don't have any pre-filled out cards, but if there's anyone here in the audience today who would like to come forward to speak on a future agenda item, so an item that may appear before this board on a future agenda, Mr. Gibolina is up. So, sir, you'll have 3 minutes. Please state your first name, your last name, your county of residence, and keep your comments to items that may appear on a future agenda before this board.
You are.
The display.
Sign in wasn't working. I got a call, the live stream's not working. Where's that tech guy? Bring him back, right?
Okay, so 3 minutes, first, last name, county of residence. I apologize that the
New technology is
overhead is not
backward.
working.
I guess so. So I did send this all to you this morning. I just want to read it into the record.
Mr. Gibolina, please state your name
Oh.
for the record as the chair requests.
Mr. Gibolina, Manatee County. So I did send you this morning. I want to read it into the record about the current land policies concerning the policies I heard last week in the range of potential density intensity. These policies are not in the best interest of Manatee County. The continued bogus bonus upgrades to 20 units or more without a workforce housing component equation in the policy is detrimental to affordable housing, workforce housing in Manatee County. Along with all the other concessions the county routinely gives, such as reduced parking, driveway reduction from 25 to 23 feet, along the setback reductions in many areas of the project. All of these are not entitlements. In consideration, neither a workforce housing component or a monetary supplement to the county should be considered. The continuous freebies must be stopped on any and all future projects. What the developers are saying to this board and the community is that we want free bonuses, we're entitled to them. In addition, we want all the premier services of the county resources like full protection from the sheriff, all the protection and safety from fire, including EMS, and we want the best education the school district has to offer, including timely bus service for our children. Oh, you didn't even start me. I got a full 3 minutes.
No, it goes different, Glenn.
Oh, man, the message to developers continue to say, all these folks recently mentioned many more service industries. Here are the folks that I'm talking about. When you're doing, so these folks cannot afford the high rents or home prices. Well, that's just too bad. When you're done servicing us, leave the area and go live somewhere you can afford, because there is no room for your kind in our developments. We have no moral compass. We are laughing all the way to the bank. This board has a responsibility to ensure the equity and quality of life for all residents, regardless of the economic status. The sheriff is tough on crime. It's time for our county commissioners to get tough on developers. Wait, there's more. Increase the impact fees from 90 to 100%. Military, all these guys, everyone is talking about housing today. They can't afford to live here. We need to start saying, if we're going to give you freebies, pay for us or incorporate it into the equation. Enough is enough. There's people moving in here every day. We haven't even leveled the playing field on making workforce housing for the folks that are moving down here. We're 43,000 units short. I will be here Thursday. I already signed up all my cards, and these developers are going to hear the same song and dance I gave you today. Thank you for the record.
Yes, sir, thank you. So please state your first name, your last name, your county of residence, and I think you know the routine, sir. You'll have 3 minutes.
Chris Johnson, the CEO at Suncoast Partnership to End Homelessness. We're the lead agency for the continuum of care in both Sarasota and Manatee counties. I am a resident of Sarasota County. First of all, I wanted to commend this commission and your staff on Hurricane Ian response and the move into recovery. I was on the EOC calls and would echo Dr. Hope's statement that Manatee County has definitely set itself as the pace setter for how to recover quickly from a hurricane and from a disaster. Many of the folks who are up here speaking this morning are talking about affordable housing and attainable housing and workforce housing and all these things. So I wanted to make the commission aware of an initiative that Suncoast Partnership has spearheaded that launched September 15th to help with this very issue. We started the Suncoast Housing Collaborative. It is across both counties. It's through the entire COC. And this initiative is designed to lower barriers for those who traditionally have faced high barriers to enter housing. What we do is we offer landlords incentives to lower their barriers to housing. So for instance, if the landlord is willing to lower barriers like income requirements, background checks, eviction history, all sorts of different options they have that they can choose. We would like to lower this, this, and this. If they house somebody through our collaborative, we will give them an extra $2,000 as a bonus for the first 5 people that are housed through the collaborative. After that, we give $500 for every single person they house, an infinitum from forward. We also guarantee an additional $1,000 above security deposits for any damages that are to the units. We require that those that are coming through the collaborative have case management, long-term support, as well as income, whether that's through rapid rehousing, permanent supportive housing, or private income, or vouchers, to make sure that they are sustainable and the landlord isn't burned in the process. We've already launched this, again, like I said, on the 15th. We have a website, suncoasthousingcollaborative.org, if you'd like to check it out. We already have landlords that are on there. The site is designed for information and also for the local service providers like those in Manatee County, Turning Points, Salvation Army, Centerstone, JFCS, who are member agencies in the COC, to go on and literally search those affordable housing options. The landlords put their information out there. We actually have created a search, just like Zillow. You can go out and search for an affordable housing unit, and it lets you know all of the things that that landlord has lowered as those barriers go. So we are attempting to increase the affordable housing stock with the existing housing stock. This was a model that was based off of a model out of Nashville, Tennessee. Nashville, in the first 6 months after their launch, increased their landlords by 74%, and over the life of it so far has increased their unit availability by about 6,700 units. So it's an extremely successful model, something that HUD has recognized as well. We heard about it on a HUD call ourselves, and our community was extremely interested, so we kicked it off. So I wanted to make sure this commission was aware of the initiative going on, that we are partnering with the agencies here in Manatee County as part of that, of course. And we will continue to do so, continue to try to find ways. This is more of an immediate solution, whereas development takes a couple of years. This is more of a, let's use the units we have now and open them up to people that wouldn't normally have access to them. So thank you very much, Commissioners. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Chris. Appreciate you as well. Is there anyone else who would like to come forward to speak on future agenda items? Sir, please state your first name, your last name, your county of residence, and you have 3 minutes to address the board on a future agenda item.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, Commissioners, County Attorney, Administrator Michael Barfield, and I'm a resident of Sarasota County. I'm here today to ask you at a future commission meeting to take action to protect our vanishing natural species that are native to Manatee County. Specifically, I urge you to declare Manatee County a safe zone for oak trees and potted bougainvillea. As you know, oak trees and potted bougainvillea are native to Manatee County. Both are in danger of disappearing. We've had an incident of a truck crashing headfirst into a tree, oak tree. More recently, we've had a documented instance of potted bougainvillea disappearing in the middle of the night. The Commission needs to enact legislation that imposes stiff penalties to protect our native oak trees and the removal of potted bougainvillea. If immediate action isn't taken to protect these species, Manatee County could lose their precious natural resources. Commissioners, the protection of these species is literally in your hands. Please act now to stop the damage to oak trees and potted bougainvillea from disappearing before it's too late. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to come forward to speak on future agenda items? Okay, seeing no one, we'll go to the phone. Has anyone called in to speak on future agenda items?
We have no callers at this time.
All right, we're going to close public comment on future agenda items, and we'll move on to consent. We'll entertain motion. Oh, we do. Well, can you back it up? Commissioner Cruz.
Yeah, I'll take them in reverse. I was mainly going to talk to Glenn. Mr. Barfield, you'd be happy to know we do have a tree fund that helps compensate for oak tree removal, whether intentional or otherwise. As for the potted plants, I can't speak to that specifically. I'm waiting for information from our environmental land group. Chris, who left, I'm very aware of the Nashville model. It's something I'm looking at. I don't know if anyone's 100% said it works or doesn't. It doesn't really lower, the way I see it, maybe I'm wrong, it doesn't really lower rents and make things affordable per se. It just opens up the availability of units to people who otherwise wouldn't qualify because of past criminal records, past evictions, so on and so forth. So it doesn't make anything cheaper. It just, in theory, increases the demand for units, which in theory could make things more expensive because it just opened up a bigger group of people who qualify for a limited number of units. I'm intrigued by it. I'll certainly have a discussion about it if I believe it makes logical sense. But all we're doing is basically paying landlords to take additional risk on their units. I don't know if you'd get Class A, Class B landlords to bite at that for $2,000. I think what you end up getting is the more slumlord-ish, for lack of a better term, people who would probably rent to them anyway, just to collect the extra $2,000. So I'll be happy to have that conversation, but I think the jury's still out in my mind about that Nashville product. As for Glenn, you're preaching to the choir, obviously. I think the Observer attempted to formulate what I was saying on the last meeting. Relative to that, I think, we hear about our comp plan, we hear about how it's award-winning, and I've sure 30 years ago it was award-winning. The problem is it's a living, breathing document, and it's become basically a Frankenstein of the award-winning comp plan because we see it all the time. Every developer comes in here, every attorney comes in, and you add some language here, you take some language away there. It's just endless text amendments and so forth, and they start overlapping each other to a point where you can't even make heads or tails. You can pull almost anything out of our comp plan now because there's been so many amendments that make anything make logical sense. And some things, in my mind, are counter to each other, and that's why I've said from way back when I was campaigning, we need to take the time and spend the money to redo our comp plan and once again make it the award-winning comp plan that conforms to what this county needs, and that's something I intend to do. I think it's a long process, 2 years, and good money, so I don't want to burden a new board with it a month before they come on to agree to take that time and initiative, because it's not an easy process, but it is something I want to do, because to your point, I think the one that we discussed last week is the disjointed nature of the mixed use density bonus, which with the affordable housing density bonus, there's no reason both of those should exist. Whoever proposed that mixed use density bonus, probably to some previous board or whomever it was probably laughing, saying, there's no way we can propose this. Nobody's ever going to agree to such a ridiculous request. And then the board agreed to it. Because here's what it is. They're basically saying, give us the same density bonus you would have given us for workforce housing, and give us some commercial property too. Give me 2 density bonuses. Like the mixed use part, the commercial part should be the density bonus. I agree with mixed use. I agree with walkable neighborhoods, but come in with an R9 zoning and say, I'm willing to put some commercial in here. Can I also have 50,000 square feet of commercial to make mixed use? There's your density bonus. Is that 50,000 square feet? Not give me the 50,000 and give me R20 over here. Now you're getting double density bonus. And you're never going to get somebody to agree with close to a node. And our nodes seem to stretch out further and further and further as we build more and more roads and all of a sudden more places qualify. You're never going to get someone to build the workforce housing when all they have to do is slap up a creative, value-creating, mixed-use commercial. You're never going to do it. We don't need another bank branch and express car wash. We need housing for the people who work at the bank branches and the express car washes. I think it's a bad policy. I think it's a bad incentive we have, and it's counter to the incentive we actually need. So I 100% agree with you. We need to redo this comp plan, but we need to start looking at some of the meaningful things now because we don't have 2 years to wait. We're going to lose all this land. We're going to lose all these developments. We're going to lose the in lieu payments I talked about. We're going to lose the workforce housing that we need today. Waiting out 2 years while everyone rushes to us to build more 7-Elevens in front of density-rich multifamily property by taking advantage of incentives that shouldn't be on the books in the first place.
Commissioner Whitmore.
Well, I've definitely woken up, but, you know, this isn't about I. This is about you guys as a board. I'm not going to be here. But if one person decides they don't think it's a good idea, it's up to the board, 7 of you, not one person. And I think Mr. Johnson's program that does work other places should be looked at. Just because you're not convinced now, we said this is a crisis, so we got an opportunity here. I wrote Debbie DeLeon's name, Elaine Mayholtz, which probably none of you even know, but they go out to the neighborhoods and they can talk to the landlords. So no idea is a dumb idea, and he's got money to do it. So what in the heck are we saying? Just because one commissioner thinks it's not a good idea, or here's the problem, we never have work sessions. We never have work sessions. So this is the problem. We don't get time to dialogue about all this. We have to decide up here. They've canceled all of them probably till we're out of office, but we don't get a chance to talk. But there's 7 commissioners up here, and you'll be talking about this after I leave. And not to try anything when it is possibly could be working for some landlords. You're right, the rent's not going to go down. So what? It's not going to go down. Help that person get in that house with that money. So, I mean, you know, and then I'm hearing about all this other stuff. In all due respect, Commissioner Cruz, it's all of us. It's not just one person. We've been talking about all this, and I'm a big one about follow-up. I always have been. You all know I'm anal about it. I always have a running list of what we still haven't done yet. And it's because we talk up here, we don't have work sessions to come up with a plan to vote on. We're just listening to whatever's brought to us up here and we vote. So again, I think Mr. Johnson's program could work. So, and maybe if it doesn't, it's at least we tried and it's somebody else's money. So, you know, it's just kind of frustrating. We sit up here every time, we need to do this, we need to do that. And we're moving slowly, and people don't like how government goes. But we got somebody that wants to help us, and we've got staff that possibly could do it. And I don't know who took, what's her name's position that was let go, Denise Thomas's. I don't know if the girl that replaced her could help, but maybe he should talk to our staff if we give the go-ahead to see if it will work on some landlords.
All right, just to clear, she mentioned me. I just want to clarify before the newspapers take whatever she just said and treat it as fact.
My name's Commissioner Whitmore, not she.
Okay, and the person who took over Denise Thomas's position has a name as well. I never said that I was against it. First off, I'm allowed to give my opinion. At no point in time did I say I unilaterally dictate what this board says about anything. I was giving my personal opinion. I've done extensive research on the Nashville model. It's been out for about a year, and I've looked at it. I was giving my opinion, and my opinion was inclusive, I believe, and we can go back and look at it, of me saying the jury's still out, but I would be happy to speak with him about it. I'm pretty sure I didn't say at no point in time I'm going to allow this county to ever even entertain this opportunity. I said I'd be happy to speak with him about it further. I was giving my opinion based upon me doing my research on a program such as this. As for Glenn's, again, it's my opinion about something, and I was giving my opinion because the staff listens to our opinion, the community listens to our opinion, and tries to formulate an idea of where policy will be in the future. That's the intent of these comments. At no point in time am I implying that I'm making decisions for the entirety of this board, so don't interpret it as that. I'm giving my opinion, you can take it or leave it, that doesn't matter.
Mr. Chair, my button won't work to dialogue.
Well, you still have the floor. You two
Oh,
are dialoguing.
okay, that's why.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, it's not that even you talk to them and decide. We have staff, professionals that can talk to them and then meet with you, and then you come up and bring it before the board. But we're forgetting, staff is experienced in a lot of this, and you're not including staff. So you kept saying, I'd be glad to meet with them. Yes, bring a staff person, because, so that all the commissioners know what's going on. Because when you guys meet individually with everybody and then we hear about it in the newspaper or something, you know, it'd be good if we had better communication. But if your all intents was to bring staff with you, somebody in that area, whoever it is, I don't know, then great, because I just think the entire board needs to make that decision. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Servia.
Yes, thank you. I was happy to see Chris Johnson here, and the Suncoast Housing Collaborative program that he talked about, I think can make a difference. And it's operating beside us, not if we agree with it or don't agree with it. They are using their federal money to move forward with this. And sitting on the Manatee Housing Authority now since 2013, what I hear from the landlords that we partner with is they're concerned about damage and bureaucracy. And if they could get past those things, they would be willing to, you know, accept some of the lower rents and the housing vouchers and those types of things. So I hope it's a successful program. I don't know. I hope that Chris can lower the bureaucracy and the timing for the people who will get the $2,000 for the first 5 and $500 thereafter. And having spoken with many people who have rentals, that's, you know, the damage that they incur to the rentals is something that prevents them from renting to certain populations. So I'm excited to see how this could work, and I think we should all embrace it. I hope that Dr. Hopes will have, you know, get this word out to our landlords, please, and do what we can do to spread the word. I know I will. Thank you.
Commissioner, nope, okay. So that's everyone. It is 10:04. We will recess for 15 minutes and return. We will take up the consent agenda. So we are in recess for 15 minutes. Okay, welcome back. We are going to jump right into consent. We'll entertain motions on consent, which is minus items number 18 and 28. Why do I remember these random facts? Minus items 18 and 28. We're entertaining motions on consent. We have a motion to approve consent by Commissioner Bellamy and a second by Commissioner Satcher. We'll open consent up to public comment. Is there anyone here from the public who would like to come forward to speak on a consent agenda item? 37, yes, sir. I'm almost positive is consent.
44 and 42.
Yes. So, sir, you'll have 3 minutes to speak on consent agenda. Please state your first name, your last name, your county of residence.
Glenn Gibellian for the record. So I'll talk about, well, this is not working. Okay. I'll talk about all four, 37, 38, 39, and 40, which is Mosaic. So they're increasing their bond from like 7 to 10 million bucks. Do you really think raising a few $1 million would cover the catastrophic disasters that are just a matter of time before it hits Mosaic? Not even close. I don't expect the state to come in and save the day to the tune of hundreds of millions of dollars. Currently, there are 22 holding ponds in Florida. For each ton of phosphoric acid produced by producing phosphate rock, 5 tons of waste are generated. This waste takes the form of gyrogypsum, a radioactive solid which is no modern use. We heard earlier today about manufacturing. We got to get out of the phosphate business. Mosaic is terrible. They rape the earth. Their reclaim process, they self-reclaim. I mean, there's no accountability when you come back to reclaiming the land. You should go talk to the farmers out there. You can't graze cattle on it. You can't do anything with that reclaimed land. We got to get out of the phosphate business. It's bad for this county. We need to refocus towards manufacturing and enhance our tourism. These guys have been running gunshot over this county for generations. There's nothing good about phosphate. First of all, we ship most of it out of here. We don't even keep some of it in the U.S. Most of it is out of there. If you look at the individual ones, they're probably an individual LLC. You know why they do that? Because if there is a catastrophic failure, they just file bankruptcy, just like they've done in South America and a few other places. They just go under, they write the LLC off, and their $10 million is ate up, and then we're on the hook, the taxpayer's on the hook for tens of millions of dollars to clean up their mess. That's what they do. So I would encourage this. DeSoto's fighting them. We're shipping it out, right? Are we shipping out all the phosphate? Well, we're damaging some county, right? Why would we do that? I mean, we should take care of our own mess, and we're not doing that. We need to not renew any of these bonds come around next year and tell them, take a hike. We don't need them anymore. We're going to bring in manufacturing at $80,000 a year. And, I don't know. Mosaic, not a big fan of it. I think if you talk to most of the folks out there, they're not a big fan of it either. They continue to rape the land. They have nothing good about it. Nothing good about it. Except maybe, like KVO said, well, maybe the next disaster will just pump it into there, and that's about the only use they have for it. I have no love for Mosaic. I hate that they even show their sign on some of the parks that we have. They are not good for the citizens of Manatee County. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Is there anyone else who would like to come forward to speak on an item on today's consent agenda? Okay, seeing no one, we'll go to the phone. Has anyone called in to speak on the consent agenda today?
We have no calls at this time.
All right, we're going to close public comment on consent. We have a motion by Bellamy and a second by Satcher, and we've held public comment. Oh, Mr. Clegg.
I am on the board, sir. I just wanted to ask, could we clarify the motion to also include the changes read into the record by Dr. Hopes at the outset of the meeting?
Dr. Hopes,
Yeah.
do we need to state those changes now?
No,
or-
just as long as the motioner and the seconder can agree to
Commissioner
that
Bellamy
change to the motion.
agrees. Commissioner Satcher also agrees. Commissioner Whitmore is on the board.
Yeah, I just got to say something. It's always nice to say those words and they sound great, but in the real world, Mosaic's been in business since the 60s, way before any of us. They were given those rights because of Bone Valley. And the reason why you don't see any phosphate mining in Sarasota is they don't have any to mine. And, since I've been in office, we did deny them. And Mr. Clegg was the attorney. And they threatened us a lawsuit. I don't know why I remember. I think it was $670 million. By the state doesn't allow us to use the phosphate tax to defend ourselves. We didn't even have a budget that high. Our budget was $400 million. We didn't have a budget to cover it. We didn't have insurance to cover it. So Mr. Clay came up to us and said, so we worked out an agreement with them, and the board really didn't have a choice. But DeWitt, I hear you say nobody wants it. Well, we all want food. And we also know DeWitt, throughout the years that I've been involved, DeWitt has always supported it because it's in their backyard and some of the residents work there. But we do hear a lot from Myakka. So, we didn't start this problem. This problem has been in effect, as you know, for many years, 60 years. And yes, it wasn't owned by Mosaic, but they're continuing on. And they're increasing their bonds. Do you not want them to? I mean, come on, yeah. I mean, there's only so much that we can do, and we have tried, because I've actually been out there, many probably have. It doesn't look pretty what we see. I've heard that we have the strictest phosphate mining ordinance in the state or in the country, because there's not many places to do phosphate mining, and that was put in place way before us with the reclamation and stuff. So it's nice to say that, and I appreciate it, and unfortunately, Mosaic is in our county, and it's not in other counties. But to say what you say is not genuine because you haven't done your homework. And Mr. Clay can tell you that we did get sued for $670 million, more than our budget was, and we couldn't do it. We couldn't do that to our taxpayers. So we're kind of in a rock and a hard place.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. No other commissioners are on the board, so let's go ahead and cast our votes now on consent minus 18 and 28. Consent passes by a vote of 7-0. Let's go ahead and take up 18 then at this time, which is a financial management item. I see
Yes.
Sheila is here. Commissioner Whitmore, it was your item that was pulled.
First of all, it was number 2, I said, correct? Yeah. And the reason why I pulled this is because I read it and I probably got my questions answered, but I think the public needs to know. Some of this stuff gets put on consent and nobody ever sees it, but we are using monies from a grant somewhere to pay for a private security company for our parks, which is, we did talk about it, budget. We never had a work session about it, but I'm okay with that, that we're doing this. But what I think we need to know is, for public record, is to let the public know which parks are you looking at, and is there any other details that the board needs to know so they can let the public know. And I felt like this was a time to say it, and that's why I pulled it. I don't know if you can do that or if Dr. Hopes can do it, because I think probably him.
I can call it up in the list. The list was in everyone's
Dr.
briefings.
Hopes, I'm
Go ahead.
prepared if you
go ahead.
want me to.
Yeah, I brought it up yesterday, but I wanted the public to hear it. Yeah.
Yes, this budget amendment is being brought forward to you to fund additional outside security. The county has, in the previous years, had a pilot program for additional security in all the parks. This one is bringing security for 8 of the busiest parks in the county, inclusive of the G.T. Bray, the Lincoln Park Pool, Buffalo Creek, Braden River Park, Premiers, Sports, Palma Sola Park, Blackstone, and Lakewood Ranch. This will bring 40 hours per week from Monday to Friday from 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. and on Saturdays and Sundays from 7 a.m. to noon to each one of these 8 parks.
Good.
Right now, we are in a solicitation for bids to go out for those private companies. We have gotten some couple of bids already.
Thank you. And I don't know this rule at all, but when you have a private security company, do they carry arms? I have no clue. Okay.
Yes, Commissioner. Commissioner, this will be armed security. We discovered in looking at the lack of security in our parks that indeed there had been a fund every year in the budget to fund it, but nobody had ever really implemented having security in the parks. And so we're moving forward with a private security company, and we'll evaluate whether or not it is financially feasible to staff it ourselves into the future.
Great, thank you. Okay, I think that answered, I just wanted the public to know. And then I did did I say 11?
11, yes.
11, and this is, the reason why I brought this up is because our line of credit, and I probably missed it, which I'm surprised, but, and I'm sure maybe George or the others may know, but we weren't able to renew our line of credit for 80 million, and I guess it was brought up at the last meeting, or it was under a consent, and I didn't catch that. So we don't have a revolving line of credit like in the old days when cities used to be able to do it, and the county, because they said, our financial people said we couldn't do it, but we still have good relationships with Bank of America. But, you know, this is really important. This is millions and millions of dollars, and I didn't think it should be on the consent. And can you just let the public know what this agenda item is about in our line of credit? So everybody's kind of knows what's going on.
Yes. To give you a little bit of a background, and I'm sorry, I didn't present myself. I'm Sheila McLean. I'm the interim chief financial officer. So going back into the history, on June 7th of 2022, we brought you to you and the financial advisor for the intent to bond. Then later on August 18th on the land use, we brought you, we came for authorization to actually do the issuance of the bonds on September 12th of 2022. We actually did the closing of the bonds, and on the 14th, we got the dollars. This requires a budget amendment so that we can actually bring it into the accounting world so that they can itemize all the projects and all that, and they can start the spending. At the same time, we had identified the maturity and the payoff of two lines of credit, the infrastructure sales tax and the governmental CB&A line of credit. These two were paid off.
Okay, and I know Commissioner Satcher brought up Moccasin Wallow, and I see that's in there. Can you just, you have a large list with project numbers, but can you just explain, that's how you broke it down, probably?
Sure. There were 19 projects that were identified into this bond issuance that brought new money. Also, we had addressed the inflationary factor, taking into consideration that these projects' estimates were going to be, you know, as they come along, the cost was going to be higher. So these 19 projects are the ones that are being brought forward, inclusive of the Moccasin Wallow segment 1, 2, and 3, which we will be talking and giving you a presentation later on this afternoon.
So this is all about the bonding and not about like impact fees and all that stuff, right? No.
This one is only the bond proceeds,
Right,
yes.
okay. That's all I want. I wanted the public to hear it and you to go through a little more detail in case the commissioners didn't ask.
Anytime.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner. We have a motion to approve item number 18.
So, oh, we do? Okay.
By Commissioner Servia, and it has been seconded by Commissioner Cruz. We're going to open item number 18 up to public comment at this time. Is there anyone from the public who would like to come forward to speak on item number 18 on today's consent agenda? Seeing no one, we'll go to the phone. Has anyone called in on item 18?
There is no one on the phone at this time.
All right, we're going to close public comment on item 18, and Commissioners, go ahead and cast your votes at this time. Item 18 passes by a vote of 7-0.
Check.
The next item was pulled by Commissioner Bellamy. It's item number 28, adoption of a resolution amending the personnel policy, rules, and procedures manual pertaining to tuition reimbursement and premium pay. Commissioner Bellamy.
Yes, sir. So I talked about this in my, Bob, could you come up, or HR, anyone, in my briefing yesterday as far as the terms, the tuition reimbursement for 6 months, and then we're actually, the people that we're hiring coming in, they're on probation for a year.
Yep, great question. So we are doing our personnel policies, updates in stages. Sorry.
Ma'am, go ahead and state your name and your department for the record, please.
I'm Jennifer Harmon. I'm the HR director. Sorry, I've never done this before.
Thank you, ma'am.
So we're doing them in stages. So the plan in the next round of policy changes will be for that probationary period to lessen it to 6 months.
So it's going to go down.
It will match this policy,
Okay.
yes.
And all of this is to have a better hiring package offering out.
Correct.
To bring individuals in.
Yes.
To work for our great county. So Bob did a great job, I always call him Bob. He done a great job talking about it in the briefing, but I told him that I would actually pull it so we can discuss it, so we can make sure we'll be on the same page about it, because we want to assure when we're going through our hiring process, we have the best package of incentives out there as possible, so that's why.
Yep.
That's all, sir?
That was it. I just wanted to make sure it wasn't going to change.
Thank you. We're going to go to Commissioner Ball. We do have a motion to approve. We do not have a second yet.
I got it.
Commissioner, we have a motion by Commissioner Servia to approve, seconded by Commissioner Bellamy, and we will now go to Commissioner Ball.
Ms. Harmon, I want to say thank you. I brought this up in my briefing yesterday as well, and I've mentioned it on this dais in the past because I've never heard of any place that had a one-year probationary period. I mean, that is ludicrous. You know, to be able to do some of the things at this county that has been allowed in the past, and yet we, you know, our staff, we hold them in a probation period for a year. So, Commissioner Bellamy, thank you for bringing this and for pulling this. I am in total support. Thank you.
Thank you.
We're there.
All right, thank you, ma'am. No other commissioners are on the board. We'll open this up to public comment. Is there anyone from the public who would like to come forward to speak on item number 28 on today's consent agenda? Sir, come forward to the podium. When you get to the podium, please state your first name, your last name, your county of residence, and you'll have 3 minutes to speak on item 28 on the consent agenda.
Yes, sir. My name is Joe Carnavelli. I live in Manatee County. I'm sorry, I'm a bit nervous. But good
We
morning.
are nobody important, sir. Relax. Yeah.
Good morning. As stated, my name is Joe, and I currently work as a senior survey specialist with Manatee County. I'm a nationally certified survey technician, the Florida Survey and Mapping Society Minnesota Chapter's treasurer, and a member of Everglades University Student Government Association. To give a brief context, there are currently 3 physical schools within Florida that offer curriculum approved by the Florida Board for the Path to Licensure as a Land Surveyor: the University of Florida, Florida Atlantic University, and Everglades University. I am currently in my sophomore year at Everglades University, a private university that is more conducive to facilitating distance learning for working individuals with families. After being denied for 3 semesters based on the old language for tuition reimbursement, this is a massive step into helping staff like myself with educational goals and needs. This is not just another tool for retention of staff, but to attract quality candidates to encourage staff to pursue further in their education. I started out over 20 years ago working as a field technician, crawling around in swamps back when Lorraine was a dirt road. Parish was still full of cattle, and there was a lone 7-Eleven on Old Tampa Road. I really never considered licensure until I came to Manatee County. I was always the field guy, and when I first started with Manatee County, Todd Boyle was the county surveyor, and he really encouraged it. Since then, Todd's left, and Brian Bellino's taken over. And they've been very encouraging towards further in my education, towards working towards licensure. This helps me, this change helps me focus on my studies and reduces the stress on how to pay my tuition. With the current housing market and skyrocketing rents, as everyone knows, this really helps make education more affordable for the working individual. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the Board of Commissioners, the County Administrator, HR, and everyone that's been involved to kind of reworking the language for this. It's a massive step for a lot of us.
Hey, I really appreciate you, if you're finished, I really appreciate you coming forward. I think we all do. And everything that you stated was the intent behind the change. So I'm glad that it's going to have its intended outcome. And then lastly, I would just say I spent a day shadowing, back when Todd was here, the surveying crew, and second oldest profession in the world, and everything you see has been surveyed. Really? Yeah. That's what he told me. It's a really proud profession. I learned a lot about it. It was interesting.
Maybe one day. So.
All right. Thank you, sir. I do need IT help up here. I'm frozen. I think we're all frozen. Our computers are. So we're going to do this the old-fashioned way. First of all, is there anyone else who would like to come forward to speak on item number 28? All right, seeing no one, we will see if anyone's on the phone. Has anyone called in on item 28?
There are no callers at this time.
Okay, we're going to close public comment then. We have the motion to approve by Servia, seconded by Bellamy. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? Okay, Madam Clerk, item number 28 passes unanimously. We then move into advertised public hearings, presentation upon request. We will start with item number 49, which is adoption of Resolution R-22-172 regarding the infrastructure sales tax to amend the project scope and rationale in the transportation major road improvements category and adoption of budget amendment resolution B-23-013. Sheila McLean is here along with Chad Butso. Would anyone like to request a presentation on this item?
Maybe just so the public knows, but no.
Okay, I'm getting a no from that. We'll entertain motions on, we get item number, it's not working.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
So a motion by Commissioner Cruz to approve and a second by Commissioner Bellamy. Commissioner Satcher, did you want to speak on this? Okay. All right. We're going to open item number 49 up to public comment at this time. Is there anyone who would like to come forward to speak on item number 49? Okay, seeing no one, we'll go to the phone. Has anyone called in to speak on item number 49?
There are no callers at this time.
All right, we're going to close public comment. Motion was by Cruz and the second by Bellamy. We'll vote at this time. All in favor of approval of item number 49, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Madam Clerk, 49 passes unanimously. We'll then move on to item number 50. Dr. Hopes, would you introduce item 50? I think you have found yourself in the packet there.
Yes, sir. Item number 50 is adoption of ordinance 22-85 regulating engine compression release braking on Lorraine Road. And Vishal is here. Come on down.
All right, Commissioners, I think this is presentation upon request. I think most of us are familiar with this one at this point. Turn on your mic. Oh, hold on real quick. Commissioner Servia?
Can we hear him?
You would like a presentation on compression braking on Lorraine Road?
No. Okay. Thank you, Vishal, for coming up here. I thought you were going to make a presentation. I just want to reiterate what I stated in my briefing, and that is that it feels like we are getting a lot of these requests and approving a lot of these requests. And I'd like for us to have an overall look at the county to see where we have restricted this type of vehicle and how commerce will continue to move. Because I don't want to restrict commerce unnecessarily, but we got to protect neighborhoods as well. As always, it's a balance. I just want us to look at it holistically. Thank you.
That's a pretty good idea. You think, Dr. Hopes, we could have him come around and individually brief us on some sort of a map just so we have an idea? Okay.
A good idea.
Commissioners, anyone else wish to speak? Okay. Then we'll entertain motions to approve item 50.
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, so we have a motion by Commissioner Baugh to approve and a second by Commissioner Servia. We'll open this to public comment. Is there anyone from the public who would like to come forward at this time to speak on item 50? Okay, seeing no one, we will go to the phone. Has anyone called in to speak on item 50?
There are no callers at this time.
All right, we're going to close public comment and move forward with the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Madam Clerk, item 50 passes unanimously by a vote of 7-0. Dr. Hopes, number 51.
Number 51, members, authorization to advertise and set a public hearing for no parking ordinance 22-98 for no parking ordinance amendments. Aaron? There you are.
Magically.
Good morning. For the record, Aaron Burkett, Traffic Operations Division Manager, Public Works. This ordinance is proposing to add 4 amendments to the county code for no parking. The locations, real quickly, the first location showing here on the map is Harley Road. This request came to us by the fire department, and as well as MSO supports it. Harley Road, okay.
I have 59th Street. Oh, it's not?
The maps were included in the packet as well. So, but briefly, this No parking amendment would add parking restriction along Harley Road, from Piney Point Road to County Line Road. This fronts the jail facility and the metal recycling facility. The issues were semi-trucks parking in the right-of-way, blocking the right-of-way, damaging the right-of-way, and falling debris from the trucks were causing issues with the vehicles passing through that area. The other location was Riverview Boulevard. Riverview Boulevard from 59th Street West to the bridge on the east side. This is a parking restriction, restricts parking on the south side of Riverview Boulevard. It's a short segment between 59th Street West and the bridge. It's a very narrow section of right-of-way. We often get folks that are going there with their boats and trailers fishing, and they'll park their boat trailers there. It causes visibility issues for people negotiating that intersection. The staff supports that parking restriction and considers it a safety concern. Shall I continue?
Does anyone need?
I have a question.
Commissioner Whitmore.
First of all, I can't find the first one you mentioned, but when you mentioned 59th Street, isn't that near the boat ramp? It is. And as long as forever, people have been able to park there, and it's
So-
kind of like Kingfish, it's constrained, so there's no other place but to park there.
I understand, and if you could see
I'll
the-
take this if
I'm
you don't
sorry.
mind. 59th, if you're at 59th and you go to the bridge, there's about 40
I know
feet
where it is,
maybe,
yep.
if that, and it's on the incline right there. They end up in the road, and you're coming over the hump bridge one direction, you're coming around, there's no visibility as you approach it. And so sometimes cars that are passing the parked vehicle go out into the other lane. This is the issue.
You ever
It's
heard of
literally
any
one
accidents?
parking space in the end.
Have you
It's-
heard of any accidents? I've never had a complaint, I just was wondering.
I got complaints. I don't know of an
Okay.
accident, but
right.
I got complaints. And there's an entire parking lot on the other side of the bridge.
And we're
So
at Harley Road in Palmetto?
That one,
Where?
that's by
Yes.
Piney Point, by the jail.
Oh, and so you're doing no parking there?
Yes, ma'am.
Have
It's
the map.
right. It is from Piney Point Road north to County Line Road, both sides of the
I
right-of-way.
did earlier. Okay.
Commissioners, any further questions?
Is there more roads? he's
Yeah,
gonna talk
There
we
are
have
more
two more
roads. Do you
locations.
need to
if
hear
you-
all of them?
Okay.
Yeah.
Carry on, sir.
The next location is Pretium Boulevard. This is just north of State Road 70. This is the entrance to a community. This is a two-lane entrance, and it narrows into one lane once it approaches 70. There is an apartment complex that was recently constructed the last couple of years, and what's happening is, as we notice vehicles parking on Pretium Boulevard, where the section narrows near the State Road 70 exit. Parking there should not be permitted. It's a safety concern because it blocks the entrance and exits. And so we're trying to restrict parking just in that section at the entrance near 70. And then the last location is, it basically amends the code to include a section on 38th Avenue in front of I believe it used to be the Pierce Manufacturing. There is a number of business traffic that goes in and out of that main entrance to that industrial complex off 38th Avenue. And this amends the code to basically connect the dots and include a parking restriction on the south side of 38th Avenue only that affronts the industrial complex in that area.
Are these all complaints? Sorry.
Yes, each of these were initiated from complaint from either the business representatives or citizen.
Okay. Commissioner Satcher, you're on the board, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Regarding the Pretium Boulevard, I believe that's the one you said where there was an apartment that had been built relatively recent. So I would just like, from a policy perspective, I'll be voting for this motion, but from a policy perspective, I'd like to see when that was approved and how many spaces per unit we allowed there. If that was at the new, because we're having a lot of things come before us and being told, oh, parking won't be an issue. I just want to make sure that that's going to square with the experience we're seeing, that drivers are seeing, that our citizens are seeing at their apartments and on the roads. Thank you.
I understand. And I think from our observation, it really wasn't a capacity issue within the community or the apartment complex. It was more of a convenience issue because of the proximity of the road to the apartments themselves. They're only a few feet versus them having to go and navigate into the parking lot and find the designated parking areas.
Okay, thank you. I don't see anyone else on the board at this time. We'll go forward with public comment then on item number 51. Is there anyone who would like to come forward to speak on item 51? Okay, seeing no one, we'll open it up to the phones. Has anyone called in on item number 51 today?
There are no one at the phone at this time.
All right, no callers. We will close public comment. We have a motion by Commissioner Baugh, I seconded, and we will move forward with the vote. Commissioners, go ahead and cast your votes. Is there any of you who are still frozen out of your computer? Commissioner Whitmore is frozen. Okay, everyone's up and going. So please cast your votes at this time. All right, Madam Clerk, it passes by a vote of 7-0. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Okay, we're going to move into the regular agenda. Community and Veteran Services first. Mr. Washington is here. We're going to appoint 4 applicants, appointments of 4 to the Children's Services Advisory Board.
Correct.
Mr. Washington and Christie.
And Christy. Hello, I'm Christy Hagan, Community and Veteran Services, still trying to get used to that. And we are looking to fill 1 seat for a child advocate, 1 for a criminal justice representative, 1 for a judge, and our school board member will be a 1-year seat. She will be, or this candidate will be replacing a candidate who resigned, And then we had no qualified applicants for a physician seat, which is remaining open at this time. So, do you have all the information in front of you, or do you have questions?
Well, I think I'm first on board, right?
Yes, sir.
But I do have a question before
Actually,
I make
Servia's
it.
first.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry,
Okay.
Servia's
Well,
first.
do you have a question, or are you making a nomination? Okay, then I have a question. Why does Joel Porch not qualify for the physician seat? Mr. Wash.
Good morning, Commissioner. That was a question that we were still trying to get clarification because Mr. Porch is a nurse practitioner and the ordinance currently says physician. So we're just needing clarification on whether or not he
Fair enough.
qualifies.
So if we get clarification and he does otherwise qualify, then we could revisit that.
And that's why we kept it open.
Perfect.
Yep. And I have been in contact with him, even just this morning.
Okay, thank you. David, when I go to, it's sort of like a watermark each of the commissioners who are on the board to speak. When I click on them, I'm not able to start their time or activate them, if you will. Which is why it's very light in color. It's why I don't sometimes I move on and don't say anything that you're on the board because it doesn't catch my eye. But we'll go ahead and start with we have Servia, Cruz, and Whitmore. Commissioner Servia, we'll start with you, ma'am.
I'd like to nominate Gina Messenger.
Yeah, we need to clarify which seat we're nominating for. 'cause there-
School board.
Okay, so we're going to start with the school board sheet, and bear with me
She's the
just.
only one.
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that one then. That sounds easy enough, right? So we have a nomination for Gina Messenger for the school board seat. Would anyone like to second that?
Second.
Okay, so we have a second by Commissioner Bellamy. Will someone move to close you want to move to close nominations, somebody?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. I understand, but I'm going through the protocol here. Motion to close nominations by Commissioner Boss, seconded by Commissioner Bellamy. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Okay, Madam Clerk, Member Messenger is appointed unanimously. Reggie, you almost got appointed to a seat on this board. Okay,
All right, so.
now let me go back.
It's a little
Commissioner
hard to
Cruz.
navigate.
Yeah, I was just going in order, so for seat 1, I was going to nominate Janet Vestal.
So we have a motion to nominate Janet Vestal and speak up, Commissioner Satcher.
I want to nominate Joel,
Porch.
yes, Joel Porch, sorry.
Janet
Technology.
Vestal, Joel Porch. And what is this seat specifically, the
Child advocate.
Seat one, child.
position seat?
This one is the
child
child
advocate.
advocate.
Child advocate. Child advocate, okay. So we have Janet and Joel have been nominated. Any other nominations? Okay, let's entertain motions to close nominations.
So moved.
Commissioner Ball motions and Commissioner Bellamy seconds the closing of nominations. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Okay, that passes. We have closed nominations. All in favor of Janet Vestal, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. Congratulations to Janet Vestal. She is the child advocate appointment. Commissioner Whitmore, you're next on the board.
I was going to nominate her, but I just want to clarify, Children's Services wants a physician, not a nurse. So it could be a DO, dentist, all that stuff, but it has to be a physician. So, and you can look at the language, the ordinance, our attorney can look and clarify it for you whenever we find one. Dr. Van Buren unfortunately passed away of cancer unexpectedly, and he's been on it since he started practicing like 20 years ago. So we'll have to
Do you
find
have
someone.
a nomination to make, ma'am?
No, that's all I had.
Okay. Would
Everybody
anyone like
else?
to make a nomination? Commissioner Cruz, you were going to go in order. You want to make a nomination, or do you want to make a nomination?
Oh, I was gonna I thought it was gonna come to my time. I just wanted to
Yep,
make
it
sure.
has. It's these damn watermarks that doesn't catch
Yeah,
my
but
attention.
here's my issue. I have it up, but I can't see how we're going in progression here. I'm
All the rest
struggling.
of the seats only have one person.
Yeah.
Yes. So I just wanted to make sure Judge Barnell got.
Well, nominate.
I so move. I nominate Judge
Second.
Barnell. All right.
And what is the seat you're nominating him for? Could you state that? I mean, I know that, but I need it
That's
stated.
that's another question. was-
Seat 3.
Seat 3.
Seat 3.
The judge seat. The judge.
Judge
The judge seat.
Yeah.
Can I say
Barnell.
something, Mr. Chair?
Yes, sir, you have the floor.
Right, so we only have one per
still gotta
area,
go
right?
through
I understand.
process.
We're going to vote.
Do we have to go through it all, sir?
Yes, you do.
We're almost done.
We're
almost done. Let's just finish the way
We've always done.
Let me roll. I can bang this out quick.
man. Go,
So,
James, go.
okay, so we have a nomination for Judge Barnell for seat number 3. Entertain motions to close nominations.
So moved.
It's moved by Whitmore, second by Bellamy. All in favor of closing nominations, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Barnell is appointed unanimously.
Now we go to 4.
All right, what seat is left? What number, sir? Seat number 2. We're entertaining motions to nominate for seat number 2.
Second.
Commissioner Cruz nominates Connie Shingledecker. We'll entertain motions to close nominations.
So moved.
By Whitmore,
Second.
second by Servia. All in favor of closing nominations, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and Ms. Shingledecker is awarded seat number 2.
She's good.
Okay.
Thank
you,
you.
Mr. Washington. Thank you, Christie. Commissioner Satcher, you are on the board, sir.
Thank you, sir. And before you go, Lee, I just want to request, and hopefully I would have the support of the board here, I would like to no longer, on any documents that I receive on someone applying for something at the county, to see their race. I don't believe that we should be making decisions based on that. So I hope we will take that off of, when we're looking at who the applicant is, I don't think that that should be a part of our decision-making process. So maybe we could get that updated and
I don't think it's on there, is it?
out of there.
Is it on there? I've never seen it.
Yeah, when I'm looking at their,
Oh,
like I'm looking at their,
The actual application.
yeah, the application, and I'm
supposed-
trying to figure out, where they went to school, what their background is, et cetera, and it says race, Caucasian, or.
Sir, would you like to make a motion to remove race from the criteria?
I'd like
on
to
these
make,
applications?
I'd like to make a motion to remove race from the criteria and collecting the information on people applying for boards for the county.
So we have a motion by Commissioner Satcher to remove race from the applications for appointments, seconded by Commissioner Bellamy.
Mr. Chair, on that, there's a law.
Commissioner Whitmore?
There's some kind of law that the county, and maybe Commissioner Ball remembers, there's some kind of data that we have to keep regarding race of our employees.
This is not an employee, it's an appointment to a board, ma'am.
Well, okay, maybe that doesn't account, but I think with our employees, we can't take it out of all then. Okay.
Mr. Clegg?
Mr. Chairman, Commissioner Whitmore, I'm not aware of the specific law that you're referencing. I don't know that that would apply, though, to the appointment of individuals to
won't.
advisory boards.
Thank you.
It was some kind of data.
I'm comfortable with the board proceeding with the motion if that's the policy direction the board wants to go in. We'll take a look at it. If we have any concerns about any specific positions, we'll bring that back to you and let you know and ask for modification.
Thank you, sir. No one else is on the board, I don't think. I'm trying to clear this board now that IT has fixed me up. Are you on the board, sir?
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Bellamy.
I want to speak with Mr. Washington about the service of Dr. Van Buren, and who did recently transition due to cancer. And I never heard anything from the, he did transition?
Yeah.
Right.
I have known him, yeah.
I never heard anything from the county or from the CSAB, and I know that his commitment to serve on the Children's Services Advisory Board was for years. I don't necessarily, I haven't even heard anything about services or anything like that. It probably has gone. I actually reached out to MCR and Mr. Pat Carnegie to see did we do anything from the county perspective because of his years of service.
We need to.
Commissioner, when we first found out about the illness, we started to do a letter of appreciation to recognize Dr. Van Buren, but unfortunately it passed, and we changed that to do something a little more meaningful. So we'll be presenting that to the county administrator to ensure that we're doing it properly.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Mr. Chair?
Commissioner Whitmore.
I knew Dr. Van Buren when he first moved here from California, and I had to let him know the doctors were complaining because he was driving too fast up onto the doctor's parking ramp. And he used to wear jeans. He was the first African-American physician in Manatee County. So, and he actually took care of my daughter when she was little, so that's how long he's been practicing. And he was and he loved photography. For all you ever saw him, he was always taking pictures. And I was thinking that on the way this morning, I hope we do something to his family. My husband actually took care of him. He was involved in a hate crime when somebody ran over him in his subdivision, so my husband took care of him in the emergency room. So, and it was his patient. So, bless Dr. Van Buren for all the years that he served Manatee County, and I hope we do something to recognize him. The chair signs it.
Yeah, he's a great guy. I got to know him because he served on the board of directors for the Police Athletic League. Okay, so we do have a motion, and look forward to you bringing that to us, Lee. We have a motion by Commissioner Satcher and a second by Commissioner Bellamy. We'll open this up to public comment, the motion on the floor. Is there anyone from the public who would like to come forward to speak on the motion on the floor? Okay, seeing no one, we'll go to the phone. Has anyone called in to speak on the motion on the floor?
There is no one on the phone at this time.
Okay, we're going to close public comment, and the motion is on your screens, so everyone please cast your votes now.
Well, it's a by and by in the morning.
Okay, and the motion passes unanimously by a vote of 7-0. Thank you again, Commissioner Satcher. Appreciate you bringing that to our attention. We'll move on then to item number 53. Dr. Hopes.
Yes, Commissioners and Mr. Chair. Item number 53, long awaited. This is the execution of agreement number 22-TA004097CD for Moccasin Wallow Road from US 41 to Gateway Boulevard, and the adoption of Budget Resolution B23-012.
Ms. McLean, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Chairman. Sheila McLean, interim CFO, Manatee County. Today, I come forward with item 53 and 54. They're both related to the Moccasin Wallow project, both on different in different segments in each other. So, the Commission has requested a presentation to discuss where is this project heading and the totality of it and the total amount that is involved in this project. We have a presentation to show. Item number 53 is actually related to the Moccasin Wallow section of the US 41 to Gateway Boulevard. This one is designating to execute the agreement for a total of not to exceed $49,472,102 for the construction completion date of 650 calendar days. And well, That is correct, yes. As you can see in the screen, we have kind of like drawn a map. There are 3 different projects for different segments of Moccasin Wallow, and I have here Public Works also too that could talk more about that aspect of the construction process. But I'm going to kind of like talk about the financial aspect and then let Chad and Scott May talk about the rest. The total amount of the project is at this moment $109 million, of which the segments are the US 41 to Gateway Boulevard, which item 53 is coming forward to do the execution of the agreement for the construction. Then we have the Moccasin Wallow Road for segment 1 from US 301 to 115th Avenue East, east of I-75. And then we have the segment 2 and 3, which is Moccasin Wallow, I-75, from 115th to 115th Avenue East. Number 1, if you see in the screen, shows this is the, they're not segment 1, 2, and 3. They're just, the first section that says 1 is the one that relates to the US 41 to Gateway Boulevard. The second bullet that you see is the stretch that goes from, is segment 1, it's segment 2 and 3, which is the Moccasin Wallow from I-75 to 117th Avenue East. And then in the map, the bullet number 3 shows segment number 1, which is from US 301 to 115th Avenue East. All these 3 projects are being funded by impact fees, by IST, and by debt from 2 different bond issuances. From impact fees, we're paying a total of $28 million on transportation impact fees from the Northwest and Northeast impact fee, transportation impact fees. From the ISTs, $21.7 million. And then from debt is a total of $50.1 million.
Good morning, Commissioners. Just to give a brief rundown, we've got 2 projects, as segment 2 and 3 is. Those will be broken out because we will be having joint funding with DOT. I'm going to start with the project, which is US 41 to Gateway, which would be item number 1 that's shown on the map. Basically, it is a 4-lane widening that we're doing from US 41 to Gateway. It is a little more on the expensive side because we have designed it and made everything prepared to add a 6th lane in the future when it's needed. So we would already have the stormwater and designed and built ready for those additional lanes. So all we'd have to do is add those additional lanes in the future. Contractor is being awarded to Prince Contracting, who is a large firm for us, at $49.5 million. We are working with them to see about putting a temp signal up at the Bud Roden, Ellington Gillette, Moccasin Wallow intersection so that that can run throughout. I have not got a timeline on that because once we award it, we'll be working with them to figure that out. It's a total of 2.08 miles. So, and we're looking to give a notice to proceed on the 11th of November of this year. It's a 650-day contract because it is a lot of work through there, a lot of signals and materials and everything else. Completion date in August of 2024. And what we're looking at doing is they'll probably be starting around the first quarter of 23. The reason I say first quarter and not give you January or February is because with material delay issues we've had, it may be a little bit longer and it may be March that they start. But we'd rather have them start and be in there and rather than just set up and not be performing work because they're waiting on materials. We are adding signals to the project at the intersections of Ellington Gillette and Bud Roden and also Artisan Lakes. So we will have entryways going in there. We will be upgrading the signal at Gateway, and we currently have a public meeting planned with waiting on the Parish Community School to give us the okay on it for November 10th. So that basically covers there, and I'll jump over to segment 1. And then from there, if you have any questions, I'll take whatever. Once again, 4-lane widening. This time it's from US 301 to 115th Avenue East, which for making it easier is Copperstone entrance where the new school is. That is being awarded to Gator Grading and Paving, and it's a $28.8 million project. It's 1.36 miles long. It's a 540 days of construction, same notice to proceed date, which would be November 11th. Once again, starting first quarter of '23. We will be upgrading the signals at Fort Hammer and 115th Avenue East, as well as adding a roundabout at 301. We also received state funding to the tune of $7.2 million on segment 1. So, you want anything else?
Scott hit on everything that I wanted to be clear. The other part that is in there within the Moccasin Wallow, what we call west, so west of the Interstate 41 to Gateway. It's an older area town, doesn't have as much of the development going on, gangbusters like it does over in the direct parish area. It has a fair amount of utility work that's involved in that, the longer time frame. And the higher cost. If you take out the utility stuff, the transportation numbers are closer in that $38 million of the $49 million. The biggest thing that's the investment in the community is improvement will be starting very soon. Moccasin Wallow is clearly the University Parkway of North County. It's a future 6-lane roadway. Land was acquired for 6 lanes. The road is designed for a 6-lane. We're building 4. It's so when the time comes that it would ever need to go to the 6 lanes, the land is in place and the construction is set up to make it as quick and easy going forward. That goes for 41 all the way to 301 for the style of design and construction. Scott mentioned on there we will need to be bringing a CIP adjustment shortly, either late this year or early next year. That just makes segment 3 its own project number from segment 2. It'll help keep the accounting going better with the state apportionments that we hope to continue securing.
Just to add one note, with a lot of the developments that are occurring along the Moccasin Wallow from 75 over to 301, we have been coordinating to look at sizing their ponds to account for the future 6-laning of Moccasin Wallow. So we're partnering with them to have them build it and prepare it for our systems to tie into it.
Perfect. Thank you, Scott, and Chad and Sheila. Yes, ma'am.
I forgot to mention, Chairman, also that we have in item number 53, there's also a section of an intersection that's going to accommodate bringing in the Moccasin Wallow EMS station. This is funded by the ARP to initiate that total funding for that EMS station on Moccasin Wallow. At the same time, FDOT will be contributing $7.2 million into the segment 1 of Moccasin Wallow. Also, the commission has requested to give a little bit of briefing on standing on where we are with impact fees, specifically the transportation one. So during the adoption of the CIP process, we do an elaborate projection out into the 5 years of where these impact fees are heading to based on the growth in the area and all the districts that are in the areas and the projects that are coming into the CIP. So we had in the Northwest and the Northeast, which are the 2 impact fee districts that are being affected by impacted by the Moccasin Wallow. Thank you, Quintana. We had done a projection on all the costs that's going to entail on all 4 districts of the transportation impact fees that are in the CIP right now, and what are the revenues that have been coming in, and what we expect to come into the future out into 5 years. So as you can see, and this is accumulative throughout the years, so we have to look at the impact because what we're doing today will affect what we do tomorrow. So during the CIP project, we take into consideration the balances on the cash accounts, as well as projected revenues coming into all those years. So as you can see, in '23, all these 3 districts are coming on strong with a total remaining balance of $41 million in '23, which rolls into '24. Right, and then as you see in the outer years, it's kind of like cyclical because we are actually impacting a lot of CIP projects and using impact fees. So you see in '24, it goes down to $8.9 million. At that point, we have to start, watching a little bit careful. One thing I gotta say is that Manatee County we are a very conservative county. Where we are, when I say that, is that we project revenues to come in lower, which most of the time, and I can say, we always come in higher than we expect, only because we try to kind of like underestimate where we are going to, instead of saying we're just going to get more than what we think. And same thing with the expenditures. I mean, there's just so much we can do, as we know that estimates always come in higher, but we do the best that we can on projecting high rather than low on cost. So as you can see, all these 4 districts on the transportation impact fees keep recovering as the years go by. And also to say, finally, is that monthly we reassess all the cash balances on all these impact fees and all our funding sources, for that matter, that affect the CIP and the operations of the county. So as you can see, they're pretty healthy. Impact fee is something that is changing based on growth and all that. So as of today, this is the progress that I can give you. We keep on reassessing.
No, thank you very much. It's good details. Chad, you wanted to add something?
I forgot to mention just one piece of clarity, depending on what everybody remembers. Within the the state of Florida budget that went effective July 1 of '22, their '23 budget, there was a $7.5 million allocation.
Right.
For Moccasin Wallow Segment 2. That's not officially in the numbers that you're seeing in front of you yet. We're still working with DOT to secure that agreement and bring it forward for you for adoption. So once you do that, then that'll be entered into the budget. But it has already been included and approved within the state budget. We just don't have the agreement for Segment 2, an extra $7.5 million.
Thank you, sir. It's always refreshing when you all come up and
Let us know.
yeah, give us these details. These are fundamental, obligations of government, and we hear consistently from the public, traffic is the number one concern in the county, and you all and your departments, not just you all sitting in front of us, but your departments as well, are literally working to serve the people of the county and resolve their number one quality of life issue that they have within their county. We're really thankful for all that you guys are doing, and for what your departments are doing as well. We have really smart people working here, and I always appreciate hearing from you. The order of the board is Satcher, Bellamy, and Whitmore. Commissioner Satcher.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just for clarification, I believe you mentioned it, but I wanted to ask, as far as when these projects, the segments 1, 2, and 3, would be getting started, when people would start seeing dirt moving, which I know you already see that some on 1. But anyway, I wanted to ask about that, the timeline on those. Like I said, I believe you said it, but I think it's one of the most important things to the people, so I wanted to highlight it.
Yeah, the answer is most likely be the first quarter, and the reason I can't give you anything a little closer than that is because there are material delay issues, and the last thing we want to do is have them getting up, putting MOT out and delaying traffic when they really can't do any work yet. So once we get the award for them, they'll start ordering the materials, and then we'll have a harder deadline of when we think they'll be starting out there.
So that's first quarter of 2023.
Correct.
And then is that
Calendar year.
segments, is that 1, 2, and 3?
That'll be segment 1. Segment 2 is right now around 60% plans have been submitted. We're reviewing those. Segment 3 is just a couple weeks behind on 60% plans, and we will be going through that. But once, as Chad mentioned, we need to get the funding in for segment 2 from the state so that we can get that before we would do the award.
The $7 million?
Yeah, but we're looking at roughly a year and a half behind each one to award the next one, so that they're not on top of each other.
Understand.
Yeah,
Chad, did you have something?
just the reason for the aggressiveness on the placing of the funding for segment 2, it's labeled as 2-3, but that's for segment 2 because the plans should be done towards the end of this year. I mean, it is our intention, with all possible, to bid segment 2 before the end of this fiscal year. Hence why the money needed to be in place to try to bid before the end of the county's current fiscal year. Not to completely say dirt would be moved inside that same year, but to at least get it bid and awarded within the next, year of business before September 30th, sir.
Okay, all right. Well, I appreciate y'all's hard work. I wanted to point that out, that we're talking serious, man-hours and funds and engineering being put behind this project. So that is exciting to see. Of course, construction is never fun, but it's way better than the alternative. It's much better than having 6 lanes of traffic on a 2-lane road. We've got, it looks like in the budget of this, you've got almost 28 million coming in from the developer fees, from the impact fees. So definitely have some serious skin in the game, as is said. And then you've got the sales tax, and then the debt that we have, the recurring income ready to take and pay back, which we've gone over before. So I appreciate your hard work, and just to residents that drive that stretch of road, helps come in, and I'm sorry that it's not faster. I wish we could, just put down, I don't know, how did the governor build a road in 3 days, or a bridge in 3 days?
We did 301 in a week.
Incredible. So, if we could call the governor and make sure that there's not a different way to do this, but otherwise, yeah, temporary, okay. From everything I've been told, this is serious money, solving a serious problem, and improving quality of life. And, as much as these numbers are huge, I know that if we wait 5, 6 more years, it's going to get that much more out of hand. So I'm glad we're putting in the investment, and thanks to the state. But I do, I'm hopeful that they will increase their contribution going forward as well. But we'll have to see about that. But thank you.
Thank you, sir. So the order of the board is Commissioner Bellamy, Whitmore, and then Dr. Hopes. Commissioner
Yes.
Bellamy.
Thanks for this great work. I have a question about Gillette and Moccasin Wallow, that light there. Will we have turn signals there for safety purposes? And what I mean by turn signals, I am referring to when you're traveling west, coming from Publix, heading south on Gillette, or if you're traveling east, headed to Publix.
Right. We won't have turn lanes for the temporary, but when it's all said and done, there will be left and right turn lanes for everything in place.
With the turn signal lights as well?
Yeah,
Okay, good.
yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Whitmore.
Yeah, and I want to thank Sheila. I had asked if she could do something with impact fees for the board so they could show citizens, because I keep hearing that since we got state funding and we got this bonding, that we're not using impact fees, and that's not correct. So I wanted it in black and white. And also, I know we'll talk someday about where are we in the process of our impact fee study for of course, everything's so expensive now. We're getting a recession. It's going to be going down, the cost of everything. So it has to, because nobody's going to be able to do it like it did before. But anyway, I appreciate this so that you guys can pass this on to your constituents to show in black and white that we are. Thanks.
Dr. Hopes.
Yes, Commissioner, I just want to commend the staff for this board has been working on this for about 1.5 years, and we'll get a summary to you of all the action this board has taken over the past 1.5 years, specifically around acquiring property, all the land takes in order to get to the point that we're at now. And so this has been a massive effort to get this road finally moving for that widening, and the approach that the board is taken with regards to ensuring that we are building in the future capacity is a pretty impressive feat in acquiring all the property necessary to actually widen Moccasin Wallow for the entire length. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, sir. No one else is on the board, so to be clear, we're going to hold separate votes, but we'll essentially heard 53 and 54 together. So I'm going to open this up to public comment. It is for items 53 and 54. Is there anyone here who would like to come forward to speak on items 53 or 54 on today's agenda?
That's it.
Okay, seeing no one, we'll go to the phone. Has anyone called in to speak on items 53 or 4?
There is no one on the phone at this time.
All right, then we're going to close public comment at this time for both items. Item 53 is on your screen. There's been a motion made to approve item 53 by Commissioner Baugh and has been seconded by Commissioner Bellamy. Please cast your votes at this time. Okay, so that item passes, 53 passes unanimously by a vote of 7-0. So Q, if you'll pull up 54, and we're ready for motions. Commissioner Servia made the motion to approve. I know Satcher wanted to, sorry. And Commissioner Whitmore has made the second. So
I've been planning this for years.
we've held public comment, so cast your votes at this time on item 54.
Sorry.
Days we give, baby.
I remember it was just. on
Okay,
a
and
piece of paper.
54 passes unanimously by a vote of 7-0. So that concludes our regular agenda. Oh, I'm sorry, Commissioner Baugh, I apologize.
That's okay.
And after this, we'll go into commissioner agenda items.
I just want to congratulate Commissioner Satcher. He has fought for this since day one, since he got on this board. You have accomplished it, sir. And it's a great thing to do. So congratulations.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
That's it.
Thank you to everyone for their help and staff for doing a great job, and the commissioners, thank you.
Yes, sir, congratulations, sir. Okay, so we'll move on then to item number 55, which is Commissioner Servia's item, updates on District 4 topics and concerns.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just have one item, and that is an announcement that this Saturday, which is October 15th, there will be 2 classes at the Plant Place, which is on US 41. They are free of charge. They're educational. This business does these classes often. At 11 o'clock, the topic will be soil. They teach you how to feed your plants in a natural way to build soil and not use as many chemicals. And I'm sorry, that's at 1 p.m. The soil class is at 1, and then the class at 11 is on moringa, which is one of the healthiest plants. They make medicines, oils. People even eat it in salads, but they sell it there, and it's an interesting plant. So please join them if you can. Thank you.
I love plants, that's really interesting, I might attend that. Yeah.
What about,
Commissioner Whitmore, item 56 is yours.
yeah, I'd like to know about that moringa oil. I've never heard of it. Okay, number 56, I have a few items. First of all, other county-related matters. To be gracious, Moccasin Wall has been in the 5-year plan, and it's even before Commissioner Trace was there in our plans, but Commissioner Satcher has pushed for it, and we appreciate it. That's being gracious. So the things at the courthouse, when's that going away? Everybody keeps asking me. I know the construction guys are working on it, the courthouse panels. Somebody again asked me the other day.
Mean the
and there's
scaffolding?
Yeah, the scaffolding. Do you know when?
Where
Have you
they're
heard?
doing the work, we briefed you all on this very recently.
Yes, I know.
So I
But I
can't
don't
say
see
when.
anybody working on it. And they were supposed to start
Commissioner
immediately.
Whitmore, that is
so-
not true. They are out there working on a regular basis.
Okay,
Now,
I've never
There's
seen
been a hurricane
anybody.
for so that may have changed things, but we check. So they are working on it. I'd have to ask Mr. DiCarlo to get with you in terms of when it's going to be done, but
Okay.
they're doing the work.
I saw some lady walking in the street this morning and around the scaffolding. She didn't want to walk under it, but I mean, that's been going on for
Scaffolding's there to
years.
prevent people from being killed.
Oh,
by
no, I
things off the
100% agree.
buildings. So they are working on it, and we are staying on top of it.
Commissioner, let us know.
Okay, now
'cause
I'm on
current-
my-
Yeah, say, let us know as you go from one item to
I
the
am.
next.
Well, this is other related items.
So still
That's
56.
the first one,
Okay.
yes. And also, the org chart, last time I heard that we had it, but I keep all mine, and last one I had, Jan Brewer was on it. So if you guys could give us a current one, the board, it would be appreciated. Yeah, Jan was on this, and Jake, and so it would be appreciated. And mainly it's for the new board and the current board, so they know who to call if they need to. Next, I'm going to talk about item number 57. To me, I'm all about processing, budgeting, and following whatever our rules are. And I know we have a company that we acquired that's looking, maybe last time I was able to talk to Dr. Hopes, it was maybe 3 or 4 sites, and, but then I've also heard commissioners up here say they don't want it in Manatee County, they want to ship it out. So I think you need to have a work session and come up with a policy statement, because we're hiring people to look for sites, and if you are looking for options to ship it out, nobody's told the board. And if I want to hear somebody say, well, I know about it, well, the board doesn't know about it. So I'm all about processes, because we're behind the 8 ball on this now. So, Mr. Chair, if you could ask for a work session in the near future to get the ball rolling on, so staff knows what direction the board wants to go with this landfill.
I intend to hold a work session on that with the new board.
Okay. All right. No laughing, Commissioner Ball, please. And then the next one is the veterans homeless housing. I'd heard at one point it was moving to Utilities Department and away from the old jail. I brought this up at the last meeting, and all I got was a bunch of nodding heads, I think. So there is a process. This was on our federal and our state board, our policy thing. We haven't changed anything. We asked for money for the state and the feds to have it go where it's going. Where we're going to put it on 66th Street, where we have all this new development. I think it's a fine location, but we're having 5,000 or 6,000 homes going in that area. And we just got to make sure we have the infrastructure to support homeless, and all I see is a gas station. And I guess we'll redo our transit station. Again, I have no problems, but again, this has never been brought to a work session, Mr. Chair, to talk about, is that the way the board wants to go? Are we going to move it to 66th Street? And you need to have a planning session on where you're going to put these employees, because I think there's 90 employees out there. And at one time, Charlie said he didn't have any idea where he was going to put all these people. So that's something that we need to talk to, not just with the administrator. I think you guys are the policy setting board, and you need to decide if you want to move forward. And then we have to change our platforms for next year. And the extension services, I want to know if you're going to get a director over that. Because we do pay 40% of their salary. We pay 100% of their salary, but then UF pays us back 60%. So they're state employees, but we do pay a short portion. And they've been around here since the 1940s, and it's kind of like, I talked to Bob Reinschettel, and he's in charge now. He's a deputy county administrator. So we used to have Charlie Hunsaker that was environmental, that did soil testing, air testing, which they do, the master gardener. And that's up to the county administrator, but for some reason, Charlie's not the director of it anymore. So I just want to make sure we're still doing quality work and not losing our institutional knowledge because of no reason why that we've been given. And that's it. Thank you very much.
And we intend to workshop both of those items with the new board.
Okay. So you'll do it in January or whatever?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Cruz?
Yeah, I'll just say real quick, since we're on our way out the door here. So I don't want to tie up everyone's thing at lunch. The 66th Street thing, I mean, utilities was effectively always intending to leave. I mean, that's part of the reason for the original acquisition on State Road 64 and Lena Road. So there was an intention of moving them. The building there is not that safe of a building in the first place. So there's always been an intention. It was just a matter of when and where the utilities was going to move, which is
They're not listening.
still being worked on.
Start over.
As for the vet housing and how it relates to 66, that's a work in progress. It's premature to have that discussion. I don't think anyone's ever said we're not using the original plan. We're just looking at options based on extensive conversations with a lot of people at the state level, at the federal level. So I think what you're hearing is conceptual conversations that are very informal at this point in time, not anything that has been obviously dictated as policy, just looking to see what is the most cost-effective and time-sensitive way to help the greatest number of people. And there are a number of options, one of which is still across the street, which we propose the ARP funds. There are some other options that are being pursued at this point in time. But again, until we have a work session to determine, one, what we're going to do with the ARP funds, which I've been saying we need to reopen that, and two, what we're going to do about our veteran housing. I think it's a bit premature. This is just an option.
Yeah, all good discussions to have with the new board, sir. Anything else today? All right, we're adjourned.